Alrighty folks, this is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic of the Gathering Arena Draft video. Let's squeeze in some more Premier Draft Crimson Vow, so maybe I can reach up to top 10 Mythic again. So yeah, top 50 Mythic, not too bad, but it's only the start of the month, so this will definitely decline very soon, but yeah, let's try to get some wins going and then maybe show off my ranking. And I wish I got to record more Innistrad Midnight Hunt, since I notice I've only gotten 2 videos on my channel. So I'm hoping we can revisit that set pretty soon. I know the next set that's going to come out for Quick Draft will be Strixhaven, and I did reach top 3 Mythic for that one. So we can review that set if you guys want to as well. But anyways, let's begin. What do we have to find? Pleasure of opening Pack 1, Pick 1 for our Crimson Vow Premier Draft. Then we open up a Nutty Bomb. Are we going to build a seal deck? So Headless Rider is excellent. I really only like it in the blue-black exploit deck. With that being said, it's still a very good 3-drop. If you trade off, you can make a 2/2 black zombie creature token. There's also Parasitic Grasp as a really good removal spell. Probably the choice here is between Parasitic Grasp and Headless Rider. Some other good uncommons. There's Wolfkin Outcast for the red-green Werewolves deck. Best commons pack is Falkenrath Celebrants. Between these two, I think you can't really go wrong with just taking the removal spell here. Whereas Headless Rider is excellent, but I find that it's only really truly astounding in the blue-black exploit deck, whereas Parasitic Grasp can keep me open. And, a 3-mana 3/1 that makes a 2/2 is good, but, I still think we need removal, and it's important to pick up interactions, so I'll take the Parasitic Grasp here. But I can see the argument for taking the Headless Rider, and I would definitely take Headless Rider and Parasitic Grasp, maybe over Falkenrath Celebrants. But let's see, in this pack we can stick with black and take a Gluttonous Guest. Catapult Fodder is more like a black-green-gold card, but I want to avoid black-green as much as possible. Reclusive Taxidermist is pretty good if I want to move into some sort of green-based ramp deck, which could be a sign that it is open for my right-hand side. But there's also, just some good black commons like Gluttonous Guest here. So I think I'm down to just stick with mono black here and take the Gluttonous Guest. But I can see the argument for maybe taking Reclusive Taxidermist and moving into some sort of green-based ramp deck strategy. Hopefully not green-black, but, sometimes you can maybe splash a third color. But we'll take Gluttonous Guest. It's still a pretty good black common. And here, this pack is not super great. There's a Wandering Mind if we want to make a hard pivot into blue-red, and blue-red is quite good. I could just take a random Sigarda's Imprisonment as a decent common and take it from there. There's also Catapult Fodder if we do end up in a high toughness deck. This is one of the payoffs, as we saw from the previous pack. So, not sure. I think I'll just take the Sigarda's Imprisonment and stay open here. But it does hurt passing up a Wandering Mind. Okay, we can maybe take a Wedding Security as a fine curve topper. There's also Foreboding Statue if you need some ramp going. Not much else here. I think I'll just take the Wedding Security. If we end up black-red with decent amount of ways to generate blood tokens, this can be a fine payoff card. Especially if it gets attacked and it just keeps growing and drawing us cards. It's not like an amazing black uncommon. Like, I could see Falkenrath Celebrants being a lot better. But either way, it's okay, and, it keeps us in black, so we'll take it here. And, late Biolume Egg, so it could be possible that we end up blue, since this is quite late and this card's quite excellent, and we could also just end up blue-black, which is the color archetype that you want to be in the exploit deck. Alternatively, there's Chill of the Grave, and pretty much nothing else, so we'll take a Biolume Egg. Maybe end up blue-black exploit, we'll see. Pretty late Diagraph Scavenger, so that's a good sign. Yeah, maybe we should just stick with black, and this is a pretty good black common. If this wasn't this pack, I might speculate on Catapult Fodder and maybe end up drafting black-green, since we're also seeing a late Flourishing Hunter. Shield of the Grave is also fine, but you can always pick up one later. I do like in the blue-black Zombies deck, though, given that it gets a nice discount, and it's a nice, decent tempo play. But gotta take the Scavenger here. And then can take a Rot-Tide Gargantua and since it's a decent payoff for the exploit deck to go along with our Biolume Egg. Also a solid 5-drop to have at the top end. Although, also, I wouldn't mind like a Syncopate if I end up blue-black. There's also some decent commons like Reckless Impulse and Hunter here, Flourishing Hunter, but we'll take a Rot Tide and then maybe build a blue-black exploit deck. My Leash Ghoul is okay. I mean, I could take it here. I could also just take the Evolving Wilds for a bit of fixing. If we do end up in the exploit deck, like, this card is fine, but usually for 2 drops in the exploit deck, you'd rather just have stuff to sacrifice. So I'm down to just take the Evolving Wilds here, and then maybe that can help me fix my mana, since I might have some double blue or double black cards in the future packs. Ghoul's fine, but again, we can always pick up some exploit fodder on turn 2 over my Leech Ghoul, and Undying Mouse does plays really well in the blue-black exploit decks. There's a neat trick where you can like put this on one of your creatures, or the creature that's looking to exploit itself, comes back with a counter, and then exploit something else when it ETBs and comes back in. So let's try an Undying Malice. Alright, pretty late Cowboy Fire. Now that we have the Evolving Wilds, I guess I'll take it here. And there's a chance we could end up black-green, but we could still play it in blue-black if we end up with enough stuff of high toughness, like Gluttonous Guess, and maybe Dialgraph Scavenger can transform this. Either way, it's still a fine blocker, so we'll take it as we get past the second one. Probably going to take Stitch Assistant here, since it's much more it's much more impactful in the blue-black exploit deck over a Catapult Fodder. There's also Wandering Mind, but, you know, again, I think we're off that train, and it's pretty late, and we barely saw any red cards too, so I'm happy just maybe moving to blue-black. Between Syncopate and Scarred Thoughts, I think I have Scarred Thoughts slightly higher than Syncopate, as nice card advantage and fuel in the late game, but if we pick up more instant speed stuff, maybe we can incorporate Syncopate later. But Scarred Thoughts is nice card advantage, and then we might end up playing Binding Dice. So alright, it doesn't seem like a bad pack. We can even splash Sigarda's Imprisonment if we pick up more fixing. But the first pack went pretty well and kind of gave us a decent direction to be in, as we open up a Concealing Curtain, which is going to be my pick here. I don't think it's a bomb rare, but it's a pretty good one. Being able to look at the opponent's hand, and it's a May ability, so even if they don't have anything great you want them to discard, you can always not make them discard. And the 3/4 Menace is a pretty good attacker and blocker, so it's a good blocker in the early game, and being able to transform this is nice. So it's going to be my pick here. Other good cards, there's another Wedding Security. We make a ton of blood. There's a Gluttonous Guest, Wolf Strike, Weaver Blossoms, but I'm going to take a Concealing Curtain. Angelic Quartermaster is great, but if we're going to end up in the exploit deck, the Undead Butler is a pretty good 2-drop to exploit and have. Otherwise, we would be looking at another Rot Tide Gargantua. Angelic Quartermaster is definitely one of the best uncommons, if not the best white uncommon in the set. But knowing us, we just want to stick with our colors, and yeah, Butler is a good creature to exploit. So hopefully our game plan pans out. Ooh, we'll take Visionary. What's this doing in the pack? I hate seeing this card. It's just so good. But we can't really move in the red at this point, since we saw barely any red in our first pack. Between Stitch Assistant and Rot Tide, I think I have the Rot Tide higher than Stitch Assistant. Stitch Assistant is a cheaper card to use to exploit early on, but just in case, I think Rot Tide Gargantua is the best 5-drop in the black-based exploit decks. So I think I like it here over the Stitch Assistant, and it keeps me mono black, and we saw Stitch Assistant wheel in the last pack. Desperate Farmer is also fine, same with Retrieval, but I like the Rot Tide the most, blue-black. And here, none of these cards are really exciting outside of a Braid. I guess I could take it. There's a Bloodcrazed Socialite, which is a good black common. We could still play it even in the blue-black exploit deck, just as a good 4-drop. Other than that, yeah, maybe I just take the Bloodcrazed Socialite. Holly Dop, I'll be playing Ragged Recluse. Selhoff and Tumor can be okay if you pick up some Lantern Bearers, but I think I have the Socialite as a higher in my rating order. Okay, and there we go, Mirrorhall Mimic. Alright, you just get past the bomb rare this late. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind Lunar Rejection as a great blue uncommon. But yeah, we get rewarded for knowing our color combination, so blue-black is definitely the place to be. And yeah, Mirrorhall Mimic is a great rare, as we drafted this in a couple of other games that we did in the previous videos. So all we're lacking is a bit of interaction, so hopefully we pick up some Bleed Rise in the next pack, maybe some Lunar Rejection, some Alchemist Retrieval. But so far the deck is shaping out really nicely. Not sure if I want to throw in Catapult Fire, but we do have a bit of a high toughness theme, and Lantern Bearer is perfect, a nice creature we can exploit, and also give one of our giant creatures flying in the late game. Nice blue uncommon, nice blue common. Best card in this pack is Voltaic Visionary. It does hurt to pass this, honestly, but I think, again, given how lackluster red was in our first pack, we just want to stick with what we have. And we should get well rewarded in the next pack since we got past the late Mirror Hall Mimic, so probably made it around the table to us. And here, the best card is the Fierce Retribution. Could take the Selhoff Entomber. If we pick up more Lantern Bears, it's okay. It's not very good, though. And if we're going to be splashing white, we already have a Sigarda's Imprisonment. I'll take it regardless, but it's not a very exciting pack for us. Since Blue-Black does want specific cards in his arsenal, I could see the Catapult Fodder actually being more relevant than than the other cards in the sideboard. Socialite's also fine, but I have a feeling we'll pick up more 4-drops later in the blue-black exploit deck. So need removal. We need some more fodder. Although now I think I have to take Scavenger over Doom Dissenter. Again, it's just one of the best black commons and has a much more powerful effect, and hopefully pick up one of these later. Okay, maybe we do have to just end up playing Selhoff Entomber as a creature we exploit on turn 2. But I'll take a knife. Nothing else in this pack that's too relevant. So hopefully we need the Scob. The blue-black Scob would be excellent. Ooh, there it is, Doom Dissenter. I think I like it over Persistent Specimen, even though this can keep coming back. I think the Doom Dissenter making a 2/2 body right away is much more impactful. So I do like this. And a Stitch Assistant may pass to pick 11, so no one's in the exploit deck, I have to imagine. So yeah, this looks pretty good. Ooh, Lunar Rejection, pick 13. Okay, plus Chill the Grave. Gotta take Lunar Rejection here. I think it's just a better card. But yeah, love seeing a late chill, so we are doing it here. As we open up another Lantern Bearer, which I'm going to take here over Scattered Thoughts. Pack 1, pick 1. I would take Falkenrath Celebrants here over like Purifier. Actually, no, Traveling Minister I do have higher than Falkenrath Celebrants, so it would be between these two commons, and I think they're actually close, but I do have Traveling Minister higher than Celebrants. Since Celebrants is a 5-drop, you don't want to have too many of them, whereas like Traveling Minister is a very unique effect in black-white or blue-white, and it's just really good in any white deck, especially long cards like Purifier. You could hope to wheel if somehow you end up in a black-white deck, but Lantern Bearer is nice. And then another Scattered Thoughts or another Rot-Tide Gargantua. This pack doesn't seem incredible. With all these 4-drops already, I think I'm down to just take another Rot-Tide Gargantua, maybe end up playing 3 copies if we're lacking some top end. But yeah, the best card in this pack is like Reclusive Taxidermist, so not a very exciting pack. And there, another Undead Butler is perfect, so we have ways to grind and get back some of our key creatures in the late game. So yeah, best card in pack 2, so this pack was just really weak. With another Lantern Bearer, I'll just play as many of them as I can. A Roof, also quite powerful if you're in a straight up blue-red deck. And it's also quite splashable too, but I'm not going to splash in this type of deck. We're just looking to grind the opponent out. And then it's kind of awkward with all the 4-drops, since if you're gonna exile a bunch of expensive stuff, it's not that great. Also, Falkenrath Celebrants in this pack too, another red common, so we could have maybe end up blue-red somehow. But I'm surprised I'm getting past these red cards from my right-hand side, so I don't know what's going on. It doesn't feel like the person to my right-hand side is in the exploit deck. Okay, between the center and Repository Scob, I think I like the Scob here, even though it's another 4-drop for the deck. I already have a Doom Dissenter. Stitch Assistant is also okay. But I'm liking to have a bit of diversity, maybe take a Repository Scob to get back some of our key instances in the late game. And we already have double Stitch Assistant, so I'll try it here. Stitch Skull Scob perfect, so pick 6. Was talking about this card in the previous pack, just perfect in the blue-black exploit deck, and hopefully I can maybe wheel a Doom to center, so this is quite good. And then I don't want a Wretched Throng. Could take a Siphon Essence. I don't really care about Screaming Swarm, it's really expensive. Don't care about Wretched Throng. Like, I know I can have multiples of these, but we could even main deck a Siphon Essence since we're kind of lacking removal. And we do have a Lunar Rejection, Scattered Thoughts to go along with it. Guess I'll just take a second one. Don't think I need 3 copies of Rot-Tide Gargantua. Take a Scattered Thoughts, not sure if I'll play 2 copies. Okay, I think I could maybe include Selhoff and Tumor in this deck, given that I have 3 Lantern Bearers, and it's a 2-drop that I can play to exploit, actually. So I don't actually hate the Selhoff and Tumor. We have a lot of 4s, and then I can even consider Concealing Curtain as a 4-drop, since it costs 1 to play and then 4 to activate. And then, yeah, we could add maybe 1 more card into this pile. Maybe just add a random Siphon Essence or a Rot-Tide Gargantua for more top end. We're lacking a bit of evasion in this deck. Cobble Lancer is kind of cute too. Not sure if I want to play it though. It doesn't seem necessary. But yeah, the deck looks pretty decent. How much instances do we have? Lunar Rejection, Scattered Thoughts. So not too many instances, but a counterspell is nice to have at least a copy of in this format, given how there's so much bombs that are in this set. We do have like double Undead Butlers to recur our creatures, so I don't really mind like not having an extra copy of Rot-Tide, although Doom Dissenter is nice. Maybe I just don't need Selhoff and Tumor now that we picked up a late Doom Dissenter, and then we can just throw in a copy of a counterspell maybe, like Siphon Essence, and that should be fine. Now, 1 copy of Siphon isn't the worst. There's also Catapult Fodder, but, you know, there's a bit of high toughness going on, but I don't think it's a big deal for us to include. We're not really looking to like burn the opponent out with the Catapult Fodder, or playing a bunch of high toughness creatures to attack along with it. So I'm kind of just liking this type of deck. It's possible that we might need an extra exploit creature because we have so much fodder in this deck. Triple Lantern Bearer, double Doom Dissenter as well. We have many exploit creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6 exploit creatures. So there's an argument for just throwing in another Rot-Tide, believe it or not, just so we can have utilize some of these creatures to sacrifice. Our interaction, however, isn't great. Like, we just don't have any ways to deal with like a lot of key threats if the opponents resolve them onto the battlefield. I mean, there's an argument that maybe Rot-Tide Gargantua is the key payoff for doing this. But I mean, again, there's Undead Butler. Undead Butler can always get back to Rot-Tide Gargantua if we end up milling 1 or we end up losing 1. So I don't actually hate the Siphon Essence. And then in the sideboard, what cards can we consider? Don't really want any Vampire cards. Don't think I need double Scattered Thoughts in this deck. Don't think I need double Siphon Essence. The only card I might consider is either Selhoff and Tumor or the Rot-Tide Gargantua, but we should be fine. Yeah, I think we should be fine. We're not really an instant speed deck, so the Siphon Essence might fall short, since we're looking to mostly curve out and tap out. So there's always the argument of just getting rid of it, honestly. But with Undead Butler, again, I'm not really scared of like not having enough top end, especially since we can just, again, get it back. So very, very interesting deck here. Like, it doesn't feel like we're an instant speed deck. And we'll be sacrificing Lantern Bearers and giving things flying. So you know what, actually, let's just throw in another Rot-Tide, why not? Just to make sure. And either way, they can kind of function as kind of removal in a sense. If we're able to grind out the opponent, trade stuff off in the late game, use a Rot-Tide to maybe exploit and then kill their, and then force them to sacrifice something important, it can be quite good. And having triple Lantern Bearer, double Doom Dissenter, double Undead Butler does want me to have more things to exploit. So having another exploiting top end isn't the worst. And then the mana base, I think it's fine going even split. So yeah, let's do this. Haven't gotten a 7 wins exploit deck yet, but here it is. And our poster child, Rot-Tide Gargantua. So our deck could have functioned very well with the Headless Rider, but again, we don't have a lot of removal, so I actually don't regret passing off the Headless Rider and having the Parasitic Grasp in this deck instead. Red also seemed kind of open late in the pack, funny enough, and we saw barely any red in our first pack, so either red was just very dry, or the person two pods away from my right-hand side was drafting red and cutting it off from the person to my right-hand side. But I don't know, it felt like the person to my right-hand side was most definitely green, but I didn't know what the secondary color is. Maybe it was a green-white deck. We'll never know. Alright, what do we open here? Alright, Doom the Center being exploited Stitch Assistant plus Undying Mouse could do some cute things later on. I think I'll keep. Opponent mulligans. You remember the Undead Butlers can get things back. Only weakness again, not much evasion, outside of like Lantern Bearer maybe enchanting something, and not a ton of interaction going on, so we definitely need to be careful. But if the opponent resolves a late game bomb, it might be difficult to deal with unless we can exploit it along with the the Rot-Tide. We would love to have have Lantern Bearer in my opening hand. Twin Blade Geist, so no reason to attack into this. I think we just exploit this ASAP, get a 2-2 down that can block the Twin Blade. He might equip and hit me for 4 next turn, but maybe we can start chump blocking and swinging back. I think I just want to be mana efficient here. I could also just double block the Twin Blade Geist if he goes for the move here. Rot-Tide isn't bad. We do need double black to get it going. Yeah, we do need double black to get it going. And I do have 2 more copies in the library, so maybe we just want to bond this and find something else. I wouldn't mind a Rot-Tide, but okay, I guess we should have maybe kept on top since now we have double black. So I could just easily double block this. I would trade off both creatures, but I would prevent a lot of damage from happening, although the opponent now stays back. So opponent is playing a much more defensive route here. Guess we can just play our Lantern Bearers, keep up Undying Malice. Can even chump and then give our creature flying to attack later on. Surprised the opponent didn't attack last turn. I mean, I would have maybe snapped double blocked. So opponent's probably playing it this turn. I'm probably going to chump block here. I guess I could still double block because unless he has something like Adamant Will. Never mind, the opponent's going to go off here. So I think I'm just going to chump with a Lantern Bearer. So I don't end up taking 8 damage. Opponent makes a blood. So yeah, I really don't have any good double blocks. Let's just block like this. And then now the question is, I probably just want to give my creature flying now, attack, and then start chumping the 4/3. And take it from there. I think I like that. And then play the Evolving Wilds, attack for 4, chump block to 2/1. And we just want to start applying pressure before the opponent makes a large double striker and kill us out of nowhere, so this is fine. I might not want to trade the 2/2 for the 2/2 here, so that's very interesting to note as well. Okay, so Mischievous Catgeist would be pretty strong if he enchants this onto the flyer or something, so I guess I have an option to block the double striker or the flyer, Fleeting Spirits. Okay, so he's not looking to enchant this turn. I think I'm gonna maybe start. I'm still gonna chump the 3/2, I guess, and hope the opponent just doesn't draw a million cards, I guess. I could also use Undying Malice to bring back the Lantern Bearer, but I think I want this actively into the graveyard. interesting. So I might just chump here and take 3, and then maybe start flying over to win, since I don't really want to trade this off, and I might want another body for a Lantern Bear. So I think I'd go for this route, and hope the opponent doesn't enchant the Double Striker and draw 2 next turn. Otherwise, I might have to stay back. Since it seems like now the game is to race the opponent, given that we're flooding a little bit here. I guess now by sacrificing the Evolving Wilds, we might be able to shuffle our Rot-Tide Gargantua back. But the 3-2 is definitely a problem. Okay, Skull Scob wasn't bad. Although Skull Scob only works if I enchant an exploited creature. And I think I need to attack and get in this turn, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to enchant 2-2. And if the opponent has a Fierce Retribution, we can still do something here. I might actually Undying Mouse on my own Scob here, just to make an extra body, which I don't think it's wrong. So what we can do is we can play Skull Scob, and then on the stack we can exploit it and then make another copy of itself. I guess it's only another whenever a creature, so it's any creature, so on the stack I just want Undying Malice here, and then I think we need to kind of go all in just to prevent the opponent from killing us. So then we have a chump blocker for at least the 2-1, and then maybe our game plan is to win in the air now. So one of them does come in tapped, but that's okay. Do I want to exploit another creature? Not really. I mean, I can exploit my own Skull Scob, but then it's going to be a 2-2, so I'm going to decline here. And then just do that just to make a 2-2. And then maybe chump block the 2-1 if he enchants it with the Mischievous Catgeist. Because I don't, again, while I'm drawing a million cards, take the rest of the damage on the ground and just try to win the game in the air. So just have to go all in against this type of deck, since... Okay, so if he's not attacking but not enchanting, I could just take the damage, actually. Like, I don't mind taking 6 and falling down to 11 here. Should be okay. If he has a pump spell, I'm still going to take a lot, but it's still not game over. Opponent gets to make a couple blood tokens, but he's not really drawing cards, so I think I'm fine taking it and then keeping the rest back next turn and attacking in the air. I guess I could also attack with all next turn, but he still has some decent blocks. Jacob, okay, that's a good card, so opponent's probably looking for interaction to deal with my flyers. Potentially. Next turn I can then chump block and maybe stay alive. Alright, so he's keeping on mana. I think we have to just attack here. I think attacking with all could be incorrect. Let's say I attack with all, he blocks here, go down to 5. No, I think we need to just attack with the flyers. He might chump, he might have a removal spell, but again, this is what we have to do. Hopefully no Adamant will. Okay, just chumps. Alright, so now we have a 2-turn clock. We can now, I guess, just play land and pass, and then chump block whatever he enchants onto. I mean, we're definitely going to chump block the 2-1 here, or block with the 3-3 and offer to trade. Surprised he didn't sacrifice any blood tokens. So we'll see. Hoping the opponent doesn't just draw a bunch of removal spells to deal with my flyers. But he might be digging hard here, since it didn't seem like he had a way to deal with them last turn. In this game we did flood pretty badly here too, so kind of regret bombing the Rot-Tide Gargantua, but it's not like it was going to do much. So it's either he has double Fierce Retribution or he only has 1 copy, but either way we're still going to attack in the air and maybe chump block the 2-1. If he just attacks with the 2-1, it could imply he might have a pump spell, which I wouldn't mind. I would be taking 8 if it was Adamant Will. Is the opponent going to go all in here? I wouldn't really recommend going all in. This attack is kind of strange. I think the block is to block the... I think the block is like this here. and then just take 3 since the Fleeing Spirit can just gain first strike at instant speed and there's no good blocks. Whereas by doing this, this might force a pump trick or at least a removal spell. And by blocking like this, it prevents them from gaining 2 blood tokens. And yeah, the opponent didn't seem to have anything, so yeah. Surprised he didn't try to enchant his creature with the Catgeist and start going in. But we were able to make chump blocks every single turn, I think, at least, so. Didn't face against the most scariest white aggressive deck. And we drew like 5 lands that game, funny enough. So the deck could have some issues with flooding, as we all know, so maybe it was better to just keep the Rot Tide on top. It would have been maybe better. But either way, like he had a 1/1 token, he could have easily sacrificed to the Rot Tide, so I'm not sure if it was even great keeping it. Like we had a chance to maybe end up drawing a card advantage, or maybe into something else. Alright, Skull Scob opening hand. We'd have no blue mana, so this is interesting. Skull Scob is very powerful if you can play it early, but again, we don't have any blue mana, we have nothing to exploit, so I actually think this might be a mulligan. This hand is slightly better with Skull Scob in our opening hand, and that looks really good. And then I think we bombed the Rot Tide as much as I like it. The Repository Scob is also questionable, since we don't have any instances, but I think given that we have, again, 3 copies of Rot Tide, hopefully we end up drawing one later. And then we can easily exploit the Lantern Bearer early on and make a 2/2 zombie. So if he taps the 1/1 Epic Care, I don't necessarily want to trade for it. Just want to get value off the Skull Scob by exploiting it. Hopefully no Bolt, Flame Blessed Bolt on the Lantern Bearer, so I'm not going to block. Interesting enough, if I was him, I'm not even sure if I would have attacked. So I think we just do it now, but let's attack first. And hope the opponent just doesn't have anything. So, alright, we could see an Abrade here, but gotta do it. Could also wait 1 extra turn, but then that's not really what I want to do. He could also sack this blood token and have a Flame Blessed Bolt here. Abrade, okay. Fair enough. So I'm gonna decline the exploits. And then we can keep up Undying Malice, or... not sure if I want to enchant the Scob. We can get him for 3. Mirror Hall Mimic, so this is rough. I might have to enchant the Scob just to prevent this from transforming into nighttime. Again, it's not what I want to do, but I think it's a necessary evil, so we don't end up taking 1 million damage. We can't block the 2/3 anyways. I'll be taking 3 if I... yeah, I guess we'll be taking 3. I don't mind taking 3, I need to be aggressive. Like, 1 damage is not the worst, but obviously we can't block the Fearful Villager. Like, again, I'm not a big fan of just game plan, but I think we have to do it just so we don't end up having this transform, which it did. So that's a potential problem. Could always Concealing Curtain activate, take 4. Mirror Hall Mimic can copy the Fearsome Werewolf, and that could also be okay. Curtain isn't the worst, being able to spy on his hand isn't that bad. Mirror Hall Mimic can maybe deal more damage. I could also copy the Skull Scob. I don't know if I want to exploit it, though. I mean, the exploit thing is better with the Undying Malice, so maybe I can combo off if I get another land. This is rough. I think we're going to attack for 3 for sure. Could see a removal spell, then we can Undying Malice now. Okay. I guess now the Undying Malice isn't the worst. We still get a body, and then I get some value here. And then I could exploit this to make a 2/2, but having a 3/3 is better, and this body is better, so we'll just play this, take 4, and then maybe we play a slower, grindier game. I could have also played this first and activate it. Okay, now this is a problem, so we probably need to stay back now, take 8. Yep. Undead Butler is okay. I think I just want to activate this so we can have a potential to maybe trade off or block. I could also Mirror Hall Mimic and just copy something, actually. I would love to step in Undead Butler and exploit, so maybe it's better just Mirror Hall Mimic, copy the Creepy Puppeteer, and take it from there, and we can still step a good double block. Yeah, let's just copy the Puppeteer. I don't think we're attacking. We'll see go. And we can still double block the Villager and block the Creepy Puppeteer if we need to. I don't really like losing the Skull Scob here, but might be a necessary evil if we don't want to take too much damage. Opponent could also have some sort of effect to blow me out, which, if I'm not careful enough, could be bad. But I'm missing my land drops, and I think we need to prevent 8 damage if he decides to attack with Puppeteer. Surprised he didn't use Puppeteer to transform the Voldaren Epic here, since I couldn't have blocked anyways. So if he's going to attack like this, I might have to just trail off the Skull Scob. Yeah, I might have to. I don't want to, but taking 8 is rough. Militia Rallier. So now, it's funny, I could just enchant the Fearful Villager, block the Militia Rallier, and take it from there. I definitely don't want to transform. I could also enchant my own Concealing Curtain, funny enough, but then I need to keep making mana to activate it over and over. So we have some options here. I might actually enchant his Militia Rallier, since it's just a better blocker, and by enchanting Militia Rallier, this might keep the Fearful Villager at bay. I think I do this. And then just pass the turn, we can block the 3-3, and then take 2. And then he might be forced to kill his own Militia Rallier if he doesn't want me to keep making 3-3s all day. Trainee, so he might start getting aggressive here, but we have some good blocks. He might transform this next turn too. But if we keep this Militia Rally around, we'll be able to make stuff all day. And yeah, I could just Undead Butler and exploit it here. Could also just activate the Curtain and play the Butler. I think we play the Butler first because there's a chance we can end up milling a spell that we want to get back. And this is quite powerful. Okay, so no spells, but we can at least get back a creature. Maybe we want to get back Diregraph Scavenger when this, by exploiting this when it dies. I could also activate the Curtain. So it's very interesting. Activating the Curtain isn't also the worst. We can take a look at his hand and make him discard if there's anything too scary. We can still block the Militia Rally. Actually, if I transform this, I might be forced to block this and kill it off, which I don't necessarily want to. So I think the play here is Repository Scob, exploit the Undead Butler. Get back Undying Malice. And then the card the creature that I want to get back. What do I want to get back? Maybe the Diregraph Scavenger to gain a bit of life. Skull Scob is interesting too, but I don't really have anything to exploit at this moment. I could also just get back another Undead Butler and maybe start looping it. But I don't, again, have anything to exploit with. So I think for safe bets, I just want to get back the Diregraph Scavenger, gain a little bit of life, and then just keep trying to make a bunch of 3/3s to stall the ground. Opponent attacks, so he's going to untap this. So I think the blocks here are this on the 3/3, and then we double block the Fearful Villager and take it from there. He could also train onto this into a 3/4 next turn, but it should be fine. Flame Blessed Bolt, that's annoying. Okay. I mean, we're still going to make 3/3s all day, and that should be fine. More Trainees. Parasitic Grasp is pretty good here. And I can use it on a 3/3 human, so yeah, let's Diregraph Scavenger. And then maybe we can just keep grinding the opponent out. Get rid of Puppeteer. And then I don't think we're attacking. Yup, and he knew that, yeah, he's just dead here. So, yeah, Mirror Hall Entity, pretty powerful. Blue-black is not the best archetype. There's definitely some glaring issues with the blue-black deck. For example, the early 2-drops, even though you can exploit and chump with them, don't necessarily block or trade off well. And if you don't end up with a lot of bleed dries, blue-black is also not great, since you really want to maximize the ability to get the spells back from your graveyard. And like this deck, I don't really think it's the best blue-black exploit deck. It's just fine. It also the good news about the blue-black exploit deck is that there's a lot of ways to accumulate value with it. Lots of ways to get things back in the graveyard if you're able to trade off and survive, as well as it's also the fact that blue-black there's a lot of commons in blue-black that no other archetypes really want. So if it's open, then you just end up getting all of them, like Doom Dissenter, Undead Butlers, Stitch Assistants, Repository Scobs, Raw Tide Gargantuas. So that's also a good sign, but they're also just not the most impressive commons either. Like, it's also awkward if you don't have anything to exploit with an exploit creature. It's not where you want to be. Otherwise, you just have to end up playing just a random 3-mana 3/2 or a 5-mana 5/4, and that does without any unique effects, and that's not great. So blue-black, not the best deck. I think it's still a solid tier 2. Maybe it's like the most vanilla deck in this format. I have to say, the most balanced deck. Assuming you don't get any like insane rares like Dreadfeast Demon. So rank 60 Mythic, let's keep grinding. Went from rank 35, alright, no exploit creatures in your early game, but we got some fodder going. I think we'll keep. And we have both our colors. If we didn't have both our colors, I might choose not to, but with both our colors, I think I'm fine. And the creature I do want to exploit first is a Doom Dissenter, so I'll lead with that in case we pick up a random Stitch Assistant out of nowhere. So blue-green, a much more grindier deck. Alright, now I think we attack for 1, and then we can play out the Undead Butler, and then keep up Undying Malice. Also don't mind exiling creatures from my graveyard. Okay. Unfortunately, we lost our Parasitic Grasp, but that's fine. We got Lantern Bearer, which could be okay. So, okay, I guess I don't mind playing Scavenger, although I don't really want to exile my own Lantern Bearer, so this is a little bit annoying. I could also play Lantern Bearer on the Doom Center and just trade off. Since there's really nothing I want to get back from the graveyard, honestly. Usually I want to put this on the big flyer to maybe start attacking in, but maybe I just need to put it on my Doom Center just to trade this off. Otherwise this 3/2 is just going to keep attacking, and that's kind of awkward. So sure, why not? Let's just enchant the Doom Center and pass. I could also attack for 2, but I'll be taking 3, and I don't necessarily want that. I could also Undying Malice on it just to be cute, to make even more 2/2s. If I see a removal spell, I could just Undying Malice as well, but I'm fine trading here. And yeah, I'm fine with this. He does draw a card, but I also just get to trade here efficiently. And just not take a million from a blue-green deck, which has large creatures that can attack for a ton. So now I have a pretty good creature to to exile with the Diregraph Scavenger, which I'm going to do right now. So I guess we can always just bring back the Doom Center with the Undead Butler. Isn't great value, but we have 2 5-drops already, so I think we can just do this. And then I can exile the Spore Crawler. And then I think I'm fine attacking for 2. If he swings back, I'm fine taking 3 since I'm winning the race here. So this is okay. Take 3. I don't really want to have him draw cards either, so Taxidermist. I could also just trade off here, and then if I end up exploiting, that's fine. I think we lead by attacking for 2, right? I could also attack with both, and then I could also just attack with both and Undying Malice, but maybe I'm fine just attacking for 2. Since the Scavenger, I don't really want to put in the Graveyard Chill, that's fine. If I attack with a Scavenger, I could Undying Malice and get it back, and then exile the Spore Crawler. But I feel like this could be a good turn to just Concealing Curtains and activate, just to see what's up. And what does he have? Diver Scob is annoying. Since he can exploit his Spore Crawler and put something back on top. And I don't necessarily want that happening since I want to draw a card. So let's get rid of Diver Scob. And it's also just a very good blocker, so I think I'm fine getting rid of this. He also has double Fear of Death to lock down my Scavengers, but then I can exploit them. Witness is okay. Could see him using a Fear of Death here. But he plays Weaver Blossoms, okay. Okay, now maybe we can exploit main phase with the Raw Tide. I could also attack with both and see what's up. We can always just, if he ends up trading, we can just use Undying Malice. If we do exploit here, we don't really necessarily get anything good back from the graveyard. So I might actually just attack with both and then offer some trades. And then maybe Undying Malice on the creature I want to get back. Could also just let this happen and then Raw Tide gets to exploit something even better. Using Undying Malice here also isn't the worst. But I feel like maybe Undying Malice on Raw Tide could be a little bit more cute. Although if I guess I can, once this trades off, I can Raw Tide and then get back to Scavenger and take it from there. He does again get to draw a card, gets to take 3. I feel like Raw Tide adds more tempo. I think I'll do the Raw Tide play over the Undying Malice play. As much as I like bringing back the Scavenger, we can always just do that another time. So now we have something good to get back from the graveyard. Raw Tide also makes him sacrifice something like a Weaver Blossoms or Reclusive Taxidermist. So let's just exile this and then bring back the Scavenger, which is a nice creature to get back and loop. Alright, so now he has 4 cards in his graveyard, so the Fear of Deaths aren't too bad. The Infestation Experts are a problem though, so he might use this on my Raw Tide just to slow me down. Okay. Alright, so now this is a dead card almost. But we can still Scavenger and do something. I could also use my other Raw Tide to exploit this 2/4. I guess I can do something cute. Oh, I can do something cuter. I can Raw Tide and then do the whole the exploit trigger on the stack thing. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's Undying Malice here. He gets a stack of token, but that's okay. And then let's play Raw Tide. Resolve. Exploit. Comes back and tapped. But we get to get a nice trigger, make him lose his token. And then we could exploit again the 2/2 to make him sacrifice Weaver Blossoms. And then the thing is, he could just nerf my Raw Tide here and then, let's see, and then attack and make a token. But either way, I don't think I can keep the 3/4 back, since if he does that, sure I can prevent 3, but I don't have any good double blocks on the Infestation Expert, so I think this is fine. So he might Fear of Death to 6/5 actually, okay. So he's going to play the longer game, I suppose, since, I mean, he could have nerfed this and then attacked and then made a 1/1 token. I guess he was more afraid of the 6/5. Bottlespawn Spider is quite strong. I think I'm fine trading the Revealing Eye for the Vilespawn Spider. So opponent stays back here. I don't mind attacking with both actually, and then trade for the Vilespawn Spider. Definitely want to kill the Infestation Expert if he double blocks the Raw Tide with it. But if he tries to block the Vilespawn Spider, I'm going to kill the Vilespawn. Okay, attacks like blocks like this. I'm fine trading for the Flyer here. Flyer can go. We still chip in for 5, which is a lot, and then the Scavenger is great. And then we get to get rid of, I guess, what card am I afraid of him getting back? I guess Diver Scob is pretty annoying. And then we can play Evolving Wilds and then hopefully search for more stuff. Vilespawn Spider does get to make 5 tokens, so that can get a little bit annoying. Our deck doesn't have much evasion to fly over to close out the game. We do have another Diregraph Scavenger, which can maybe burn him out. So That could be useful. For now, I think we just find a land here. And then I do have a third Scavenger. I mean a third Rot-Tide, so I might want the extra black mana. I'm not sure if this is right. This transforms. Okay, I think I might find main phasing Scattered Thoughts here and seeing what's up. And then Repository Scob isn't bad. Same with Undead Butler as a thing we can sacrifice. Okay, so we can play land, and yeah, I could just exploit the Rot-Tide Gargantua. It's a fine blocker, but it's doing nothing, so I guess it's okay just playing this out. Hopefully no counterspell. Maybe he drew into a counterspell. Okay, no counterspell. So now we can sacrifice the Rot-Tide and then bring back, I guess another Scattered Thoughts isn't the worst. I don't really want Parasitic Grasp. It can give me some life, but I can't deal damage to the face, whereas there's also Undying Malice, but I think I want the Scattered Thoughts since I do have Diregraph Scavengers, again, in this deck that can burn them out. So I think this is the right approach, and then we can just stay back. And then I don't really want to attack into this since he has some good blocks. So you go. And then this also transforms into daytime, so... Lunar Rejection isn't the worst. I can bounce and attack. I can also attack with all. I mean, I could attack with this if he goes for some triple blocks. I can bounce. I could also just bounce this and then just attack with all three. But maybe I lead with Scattered Thoughts first and see what's up. Okay, I can put this in the graveyard. I guess I want both of these, since if I exploit the Biolume Egg, I can make a 4/4. And then by putting Lantern Bear into the graveyard, we have a flyer that can help us close out the game. So interesting enough, I might Lunar Rejection here, bounce and then attack. I could also just go for the Lantern Bear play on the Diregraph Scavenger, and if he has a way to deal with this, we can still get back with the Undead Butler eventually. So you know what, I'm actually going to try to give the Diregraph Scavenger flying and see what's up. Because I just want to end the game here, and then, yeah, if he has an interaction spell, that's fine. I mean, he needs to kill this eventually, we'll still stay back, and we can transfer daytime again so he doesn't get a good attack in. Opponent's also going to mill himself quicker than I am, so I should be fine as well. And we also have, again, 2 more Scavengers in the deck, so by using Scattered Thoughts, I get to dig deeper into the library, eventually find a second Scavenger to burn him out. So, funny enough, Skywarp Scob, okay, that can block. Again, I don't really care. Get to get some value from this. We can bounce this and then kill him. I could also Undead Butler here. And then exploit the Undead Butler, get a Scavenger if we mill one. But the Biolume can also make an unblockable 4/4 by sacrificing my island. So you know what? I'm actually going to play the Biolume here. And then we can also exploit it. Ooh, Mirrorhall Mimic. I'll take a Mirrorhall Mimic. So I don't really want to mill that. I could also exploit Lantern Bearer, but having an unblockable 4/4 I think might just be better. Could see a counterspell. Alright, Siphon Essence. Opponent is scared. So we're probably just going to play Lantern Bearer and just pass here. Could also, again, mill my own Undead, my Mirrorhall Mimic, but we'll say go. Next turn we can bounce the Flyer and attack, or we can copy our own Scavenger and take it from there. Spike Ripsaw, that's fine, don't really care. So he's going to equip onto this, that's fine. Ooh, Giraffe, but he only has 1 zombie and he's tapped out, so I think it's just good games. We can just copy our Scavenger here and burn him out. Yep. So yeah, this deck can function pretty well. Only the lack of interaction is what's making it not as great as making it not the best A+ blue-black deck. I think this deck is like a solid B- or something, and it still managed to go 3-0 currently, so you never know. This format is really bomb heavy, but again, you don't always face against the opponent with the insane nutty bombs that they cast on curve all the time. It's very rarely that you end up facing that in draft. since again there's color restrictions that you need to abide towards to have the most optimal deck possible. Like, for example, if I end up blue-black and I end up opening, like, Averbrook Caretaker, sure, I can maybe try to Heart Splash Averbrook, but I wouldn't really recommend it if I'm already doing the whole blue-black exploit theme. And you don't always face against someone who has opened up the Nutty Rare. If you do, I mean, that does kind of suck, but it's a lot better in Draft than Sealed, since Sealed is just a huge coin flip, and there's just too many good rares that it's just not a fun format for Sealed. Draft, on the other hand, is again just better, obviously, for any set, including even ones like Theros Beyond Death. But I find the draft is a lot more fun. I'm also almost at this point in the format where you actually do take a Braid and Flame Blessed Bolt over Bleed Dry. And it's almost the same argument I made. It's not like the opponent always has like a bomb on curve or something that's, you need to answer immediately in draft. Whereas like a Braid, and Bleed Dry, Flame Blessed Bolt are just very important removal spells to have in the early game to deal with like threats. So, and then having to tap off with 4 mana with Bleed Dry is kind of it's kind of not where you want to be if you're behind on board. I still have Bleed Dry as the top 3 common, but again, there's the argument for taking a Braid and Flame Blessed Spell. Yeah, another decent hand. Turn 1 Lantern Bearer into Stitch Assistant, and then maybe we can copy something, and then if this ends up in the graveyard, we can just enchant the opponent's creature and maybe force them to stack their thing. It's best to enchant the opponent's creature with the Mirror Hall Mimic because they're less likely to kill their own creature just to stop this from making copies. But if you have a stronger creature, and you aren't afraid of them having removal, you can always enchant your own. So black-white, mostly a life gain deck. Perish Blade Trainee, so it could be a much more aggressive build. Attack for 1. Next turn we can play Stitch Assistant, exploit, and maybe trade off for the Perish Blade Trainee. And hope he doesn't have a follow-up. Welcoming Vampire, alright, that's a strong one. That's going to be a little bit rough for me to deal with. I could copy the Welcoming Vampire on turn 4 and then maybe start drawing cards off of it. For now, we're definitely going to exploit the Lantern Bearer for sure. And then hopefully we draw and find something good off the top. What's on top? Parasitic Grasp is awesome, so I think we're going to try to kill the Welcoming Vampire and let him train onto the Perish Blade Trainee. I know he can load up a counter onto this later, but we don't want to make this into a 3-4, since if we make this into a 3-4, we won't be able to kill it. So, unfortunately, we probably need to let this Perish Blade Trainee slide. This is rough, though. Yeah, I think we have to just let him train onto this, which sucks. And then maybe the game plan is to trade off and then end up exploiting something to deal with the final Perish Blade Trainee. So I don't think I'm blocking here, and hope he doesn't have an Adamant Will for his Welcoming Vampire. And this only triggers once per turn, so I don't need to worry that much. And then, yeah, I think we need to Parasitic Grasp a 2-3 before it gets out of hand. And it's a Vampire, so I need to pay the full cost on the cleave. And then, don't know what I want to trade off for next turn. Might just have to trade for the trainees. They do get to stack counters everywhere, which can be kind of annoying. Maybe it's better off to just trade for the Panic Bystander. Okay, I think I want to trade for the Panic Bystander because by trading for the Panic Bystander, this Heron of Hope can eventually transform it. He could also just attack with these two. The right play might actually just to take it, honestly. If I block here, he gets to move a counter somewhere. I actually think the right play is to take it and not trade off, even though these can get pretty annoying later. And then what do we play here? Could just play Rot-Tide Gargantua. But I might be more inclined to just copy the Heron of Hope and take it from there. Although he does get to transform the Panic Bystander next turn into a 3/5. Huh, this is interesting. Oops, never mind. That was stupid. Alright, I'm gonna concede. I forgot. I thought I could cancel and go back, but that was dumb. That was stupid. Sorry. Alright. I don't know if I was gonna win that anyways. Let's just pretend that game never happened. I misclicked. Okay. Alright. I'm not perfect. I know I'm trying to get to top 8 Mythic or top 10 Mythic, but I'm not perfect. So that was an embarrassing game. Just try to wipe that from the slide. Don't comment on it, please. I'm not flawless. I'm human. I'm not perfect. Alright, just pretend that game never happened. Let's move on. Either way, let's say that game did happen. What would I have done? It was definitely rough. Like, he was guaranteed to transform the Panic Bystander into a 3/5 regardless. So maybe the right play was just to play the Rotide Gargantua without exploiting, since I don't really want to lose the 3/2 and take it from there just to be mana efficient. Maybe I just need to, maybe the play was to maybe make the 3/2 into a flyer. Yeah, maybe it was to make the 3/2 into a flyer with the Lantern Bear so it can block the Heron and prevent the 2/2 from transforming. Maybe, and then it can also block the ground creatures. So I think the right play was maybe Lantern Bear onto the 3/2 and hope it didn't run into some sort of removal spell. Okay, let's try to not make those dumb misclicks again. That dropped me pretty far down. No black mana, but we do have blue mana. If we get our third land, we can Stitch Assistant Lantern Bear. I think I'll try it. But if I don't get land, at least third land, I might be a little bit sad here, but we'll see. Obviously, swamp off the top would be pretty amazing. But nope, let's just attack. And hope we get a third land drop next turn. So blue-red, alright. I might have to keep Lantern Bear now to block the 3/2/1, but now I can exploit it. And that might just be better. Maybe try to hit my swamp with the Stitch Assistant. We can also get this flying next turn if we wanted to. Biolumig is very good. I think I'm going to keep Biolumig so we can play this as a blocker and then exploit it with the Stitch Assistant. That actually isn't that bad. If he attacks, I'm probably going to take 2. Opponent stays back. Could be holding up a counterspell. Stormchaser Drake, that's a good one. Don't want to exile anything. I think we just lead with the Biolumig Scry for some lands and take it from there. Although I don't really want that much blue. There's also a Lantern Bear I can exploit next turn, but I'm planning to exploit the Stitch Assistant. So this is a little bit interesting. I could just bomb both, actually. I guess the Lantern Bear can then block the Stormchaser Drake, which isn't too bad as well. I guess we can Stitch Assistant into Lantern Bear next turn, so let's just do this instead. And then hopefully hit another swamp. Because I can exploit this, play Lantern Bear to hold off the 2/1, and take it from there. And that way he might be forced to use removal spell on the Lantern Bear. Cruel Witness. Alright, so I'll be taking a little bit of damage in the air, but I can exploit the Biolumig at least. The 2/1 is also a bit of a problem, but we can at least hold off the flyer for now, so I think we lead by Stitch Assistant, sacrificing Biolumig. And then keep a swamp hopefully on top. Okay, there it is. I need my second swamp. I could also not play the Lantern Bear, play Undead Butler, since it can be pretty good at getting something back, and we might want to set up a turn 5 Rotide Gargantua, so there's also an argument for that. I'll be taking 5 in the air, but maybe it's worth it. Or maybe just need to play Lantern Bear to hold off the 2 power. I think I need to play Lantern Bear, actually. This 2/1 is a problem, and then we'll stay back. And then we can start attacking the 4/4, or just to start attacking with the ground creatures. I'll take 3, and then maybe we can trade for the Stormchaser Drake, which can be, so we can prevent 2 damage from happening. Abrade is pretty annoying, so he can abrade my flyer now, and then hit me for 5. But then I guess I can give one of my creatures flying, so I could just Lantern Bear onto maybe Biolumig Serpent, and take it from there, so I'll be taking 5. I guess I might want to attack first next turn. So now what? I could just exile the Stitch. No, I can't. I guess I can attack with all, and then exile a Stitch Assistant, at least gain 2 life, and play an Undead Butler and take it from there instead. Because I don't really have anything good to exploit, and I might want to set up the Rot Tide. I could also just give 2 creatures flying here. I think we attack and try to race, and then play the Scavenger to exile. Obviously, I don't really like this block, but at least I can put a card into his graveyard to exile, and we're doing a decent amount of damage on the ground. And then now we can Scavenger, gain some life, deal some damage, and then Undead Butler doesn't seem bad here. And Mirror Hall Mimic is a good one, so we'll say go. And we're at least winning the race, so the opponent might need to keep his creatures back. So next turn, I don't know if I want to exploit this yet. I might want to Lantern Bear and then give my creatures flying instead. And that might be more reasonable, so I don't get run over by flyers. I could also Mimic and copy a flyer, in fact. Or I can at least mimic my Scavenger. I guess I could also mimic my Scavenger, and I guess he's trying to get a land here, so he can play the Wretched Throng, I have to imagine. So yeah, so now he's just building a board. So now what? So the opponent's not going to kill me anytime soon. I could just give my creatures flying and kill him. So this is 5. Yeah, I guess I can just do that. 5. Yeah, he's just dead. Good games. I think the opponent forgot I have Lantern Bears, which can then fly over and kill him. And yeah, that's why Lantern Bear is the best blue common. You can exploit it. You can give yourself win conditions in the late game, and it also casts. It's also a non-creature spell for the blue-red deck. So it's always important to have like at least 1 to 3 copies of Lantern Bear, I think, in any blue deck. All right, 4-1. Let's just pretend that last game the game I lost didn't exist. It was just a misclick, guys. I hate to embarrass myself, but again, I'm not flawless. I don't always get 7 wins. I do get a pretty decent high chance of getting a above average win rate for the most part, but I'm not perfect. And even if I tried, it still wouldn't be perfect. But overall, yeah, the deck is fun. No insane bombs outside of the Mirror Hall Mimic. And even then, Mirror Hall Mimic isn't like an S-tier bomb or anything. It can definitely be disrupted. Since if you're behind and you need to use it to enchant their creature or one of your own, it might be too slow. And sometimes you might be forced to trade off the token you have with one of the creatures that they also have. But if you're ahead on board, you can just enchant their creature, and then kind of force them to either kill the creature so you stop making tokens, or just go infinite, make a bunch of tokens, and then stall the game out like I did against the red-white opponents. Or black-white opponent that we faced. No, we lost the black-white, the red-white opponents. With, I think, I forgot. Was it red-white? I'm not sure. Not sure. Lantern Bear on turn 1, Undead Butler on turn 2, and then Grasp and Lunar Rejection seem okay. So hopefully we pick up some ways to exploit these creatures. But yeah, this is a fine keep. Could see of turn 1 Flame Blessed Bolt or Voldaren Epic here. Okay, and then, hey, we got a curve, and then we just need to find a creature to exploit both of these. One of these, and I think I'll exploit the Biolumic first, obviously, since it makes a 4/4, which can be really threatening. Bloodcaster, so probably keep the Lantern Bear back to hold off the 2/1. No need to be aggressive here. and then we'll take it slow. Maybe scry for a good creature to exploit, and then we get to mill away some lands, which might not be too relevant since we have 4 copies. Opponent plays Foreboding Statue. Could take out the Foreboding Statue to prevent some mana wrapping from happening. Or just play the Biolumic, scry for a good exploit creature, which is also reasonable. The Foreboding Statue is annoying, but he might not ramp into anything too scary. So let's think here. Probably save the Parasitic Grasp, but I don't really want him ramping. Again, it's not that fun. Let's just Biolumic here, and then we can maybe win by applying pressure by sacrificing the egg instead. Scatter Thoughts isn't the worst, but I do need to find an exploit creature. Maybe next turn we can keep up the instances instead, so maybe that's fine. And Scatter Thoughts can dig pretty deep, so I'm going to take the slower approach here. Keep up Scatter Thoughts, Lunar Rejection, and Parasitic Grasp. And yeah, that's a creature I don't mind killing with this Grasp, and we'll just do it now before it gets to untap. He makes a Blood Token, but now I can attack with a 1/2. It's not much, but it's still an attack. Play land, and then we'll see. I do want maybe a Rot-Tide Gargantua off the top. I can always bounce a Foreboding Statue to reset it as well. Okay, that's annoying. Rending Flame. So I'll be taking a bit of damage. Although if he attacks me, he won't get to ramp with the activate counters on the Foreboding Statue. I can always exploit the Undead Butler and then get it back. Get the egg back, so that's not bad. I think for now we just sacrifice, get a land, and just pass a turn. End of turn we can always Scatter Thoughts or bounce the Foreboding Statue. Could just do it now, actually. Which isn't wrong. I don't know. What was I thinking? I could maybe put a stop on his upkeep. Because now he gets to ramp with this onto annoying 4-drop. Okay, another statue is okay. So I probably just want to Scatter Thoughts end of turn, I have to imagine. Since this is a really slow game. And then hope I get something good, some good exploit creatures like double Rot-Tide Gargantua. Why? That seems pretty strong. There's also Skull Scob. So funny enough, I could also just Skull Scob and Rot-Tide, I guess. Rot-Tide is the bigger creature. So let's think here. We're definitely going to exploit the Undead Butler. By exploiting the Undead Butler, we can get back, I guess, the Biolume Egg, which also needs to be exploited. And we might need to set up a turn where we need to 2-drop into exploiting the Biolume Egg, but we're planning to exploit the Undead Butler regardless with the Rot-Tide next turn. I could also Skull Scab and Stitch Assistant, but the power level of these 2 cards aren't great, so I think maybe it's just double Rot-Tide and take it from there. Yeah, let's just maybe double Rot-Tide. As much as I like Skull Scab and generating value, I think the 5/4s are just too powerful to say no to. And then we can play land and then exploit the Undead Butler. Take 5 next turn. I'm fine taking 5 since we can always bounce this back. He does get to make a Blood Token, but that's okay. And we'll exile it. And then, yeah, this is interesting. I think it's just Biolume Egg. We just want big bodies. He does get to, again, make a Blood Token, but that's fine. And then I'm fine taking 5 as well. Because I can just bounce this back. Next turn, yeah, I guess I can play 3-drop and then bounce the Forsaken Thresher to set him back. And I probably want to do a main phase, or on his upkeep to prevent him from drawing cards. I guess if I do it now, I get to attack for 5. So he might equip here and attack. I'm fine with this. He loses a lot of tempo. I could also chump, but 6 damage is okay. I do want to hold off this Bloodcaster, although he does get to make blood all day. It's only 2 blood tokens. I could also just chump it and then give this flying. And then bounce. But the plan is to do the Biolume Egg thing, right? He's going to have 5 blood anyways next turn, which is kind of annoying. Or no. I guess he can chump it. Yeah, let's just block. This is not great, but... So he can transform this and then make blood tokens. I might need to bounce the Voldaren Bloodcaster instead. Although he can just replay it again. So let's just move the combat. I think we just attack, and then we can chump the flyer. He's gonna chump with the 1/1, I have to imagine, to get to 5 blood. So yeah, the opponent gets to unfortunately go off with the Bloodcaster. I could also Lantern Bear and then play another Rot Tide to sack it and take it from there. Maybe that's better. He might be more inclined to just sack his Forsaken Thresher, and I get to put out more tempo here. And then we can always just give our Rot Tide Gargantuas flying. So maybe this play was just better. I don't know, him making flyers all day isn't great, but by doing this we might force him to sack the Thresher. He loses out on a big creature, and then we can still attack him for 10 and do a lot of damage. We can always bounce his token as well. So yeah, I think he's inclined to just sack this. It isn't great for him, but I think he wants to keep the Bloodbat Summer around to just go off with it. So I'm down to just chump, honestly, and then try to win with the Rot Tide Gargantuas. So now what? We could Lantern Bear on both, which I don't mind. Keep one of them back, and then attack with the other one. Or just attack with one of the ground creatures, just keep one of them back. I think I'll Scry with the Biolumig, might be more important. And then we can attack for 5 in the ground and then keep the other one back. None of these cards I really like, although the Stitch Assistant I do want, just because I can exploit the Biolumig, so I think I like the Stitch on top. And then we can attack for 5, and then Lunar Rejection isn't going to bounce anything, but it's still fine. Socialites, we can always bounce this again. He can also start getting aggressive in the air by doing some blocks. I think we attack first here, and then we can always Lunar Rejection if he goes for some sort of double block to kind of blow him out. So he might just block with both tokens, and then we can Lunar Rejection to keep the 5/5 around, and then... Oh, okay, I guess the opponent is playing around the bounce. I could bounce one of them regardless, just to take out all 3, which isn't the worst. Or I can save it for the Bloodcrazed Socialite. I think I bounced one of them to take out all 3. Opponent did play around quite nicely, but this is fine. He's eventually going to run out of blood tokens. Bomb lands. Ooh, Diagraph Scavenger, that's a good one. Just say go. If he attacks the Bloodcrazed, I might just take it. I can also just double block it, honestly. I do lose out on the Biolume Serpent, but this is kind of an annoying threat. He should have maybe equipped first. I mean, I could just take 5 here. I could just take 5. Not really scared of anything. Yeah, I'll just take 5. We can always give this flying later and then just attack. Celebrants, okay, that's annoying. Huh. Alright, so more menacing creatures, so we probably want to just maybe force a chump block, although Lantern Bear is quite nice. So I could just sacrifice some islands and take it from there. Yeah, what we can do is maybe Lantern Bear onto this, attack with both. He definitely doesn't want to block with a Bloodbat Summoner, otherwise he loses value, and then we can still play all of our stuff. I think I like this play. Maybe force him to trade for the Bloodbats, and he definitely doesn't want to, so I think we get aggressive here, like this. I could also, again, sacrifice double islands, which we can do later, but this is fine. And then he should die next turn, so he might be forced to double block. So he's going to double block here. That's good. Alright. We get to crash in for 6. Play out the Scavenger, exile the Bloodcaster, I have to imagine. I then play Lantern Bear. And then we can always just double block just to be safe. Or not. I mean, we can always just double block, put this onto the put this into the graveyard. Yeah, and he realized he can't win. Alright. we managed to even beat a Black-Red Blood deck with powerful synergies. So that game I could have also just sacrificed double island in attack, and we would still, maybe if we did our math correctly, we could have still kept the one island, played the Diagraph Scavenger, and played the 1/1. But I didn't mind the double block with the Bloodcaster, since it was going to be a scary card anyways that I don't mind just getting rid of. So, alright, rank 11, let's get to top 5, 5 and 1. And then do another Premier Draft Crimson Vow after this maybe, and maybe go back to do some Strixhaven draft. So I am liking the triple Rot Tide over the Counterspell. And again, it's just because we didn't have enough instant speed to play along with the Siphon Essence. Like, if I had more instant speed shenanigans going on, I might include it, but the Rot Tides were just better, and we needed more things. We needed more ways to sack our Bylum Eggs and Doom Dissenters in the late game. Otherwise, it would be pretty awkward just having them around, sit around, maybe forcing a chump. Alright, Undead Butler on 2. Alright, I mean, we have 3, both our colors. We just need to hit some lands. I think I'll risk it here. On the play, I don't really like the mulligan. And we can always, funny enough, exile our own creature just to gain some life. And drain the opponent. Alright, we can always exile a Stitch Assistant, although I would love to draw this on turn 3. We also milled away the Mirror Hall Mimic, which could be useful later. And luckily enough, we were playing against red-green, so not too many ways to exile outside of Flame Blessed Bolt, but that only works with 2 toughness. There's no instances in the yard for me to exploit as well, so it's kind of awkward, but we can still play the 4-drop, exile our own creature and take it from there. Lantern Bearer, okay, so this is going to be a slow game, since we missed up on a few land drops, but we did mill some creatures that weren't lands, so it's not like we're falling away too far behind. So he can ramp and do something scary for 5 mana. Mariner, okay, that wasn't ramp, but it's also scary. So I might need to cast a spell next turn just to prevent it from transforming, so I hope I get a land here. And we got a land, so that was lucky. So now we can attack for 1. And then play out this Scavenger, exile our own Stitch Assistant, since we have 2 in the graveyard, one we can always get back later. What's this? Could see a Flame Blessed Bolt, nope. Scavenger can hold off the 4/4, assuming it doesn't become nighttime. And then if we're able to deploy Rot Tide Gargantua, that should be pretty sweet as well. Or copy maybe the Hookhand Mariner and make a milling copy of our own. So could see a 1-mana spell here, or he's just tapping just to get the Foreboding Statue online. So I can always block this, assuming even if he has Sure Strike, I can get back with Undead Butler and drain him again. If I get the 5 mana, I might try to enchant his own Hookhand Mariner, and instead take that route, which is also a fine, decent play. And by doing that, I can just make Hookhand Mariners to block his own. But he also can start getting aggressive and attacking with it, maybe forcing me to trade for it. So yeah, it's a close call. Spore Crawler, okay, so he can stack that to the Rot Tide, which is not necessarily a problem for him. So we got land here. So interesting. I can't play Rot Tide. I also don't have any instances to get back from yard. So I think the right play is to enchant his Hook Hand Mariner, maybe force him to be a little bit more aggressive, and then take it from there. Otherwise, he's forced to kill his own Mariner, and that's not what he wants to do. So I think I'll enchant the Mariner, and then allow him to hit me for 4, attack for 1, and take it slow. Could also chump block this if we're afraid we're taking too much damage. Can always double block the Spore Crawler, although we'll lose both creatures. Or just take it and then, yeah, or just take it and then just keep making 4/4s all day. A funny trick we can also do is use Repository Scab next turn along with Undying Malice, but we don't have any instances to get back. So it's kind of a rough call here. I could also just play this just to exploit, which also isn't the worst. But now I can just make 4/4s all day and take it from there. Undead Butler also exiles itself when the sacks, so I don't necessarily want to Undying Malice on the Undead Butler. So he's kind of forced to attack with a 4/4. And then the 3/2 attacking, this is interesting. I think we might just have to chump the 4/4. I guess if I chump, I can at least get back the Stitch Assistant to go along with the Undying Malice. Or I can also just double block here, which isn't the worst, just to take out the 3/2 at least. And then we get a 2/2 on the way back, and we can also... No, actually, I don't want to do that, right? Since if I do that, I don't get to do the exploit trick with the Undying Malice, and both creatures will die. And I don't want to Undying Malice on the 1/1, so I think we actually just chump the 4/4 here, take 3, and then we get back Stitch Assistant, and then do the whole Undying Malice with the Doom Dissenter combo. So I think this is okay. And then we get to make a 4/4 on our upkeep. And just maybe grind the opponent out with a million Hook Hand Mariners. Opponent is keeping up mana, so this is a little bit scary. And concerning, but we do have Undying Malice at instant speed. We'll see what the opponent does here. I guess he forgot to transform on his end step because this would untap and turn into a 5/5. So that's interesting. I don't know what the opponent is thinking here. I guess I get my own Rip Hook Raider, believe it or not. So we might just have to take 6 from this Rip Hook Raider, or at least make it daytime to transform this back. So we have double black online. We could just Rot Tide Gargantua, but he would then sack his own Rip Hook Mariner. I think we go for the trick here and hope it resolves. So what we want to do is maybe lead with Stitch Assistant, sack the Doom Dissenter, make another copy. There's no cards in the graveyard for a Diregraph Scavenger. I can also attack with 2 with the Diregraph Scavenger, actually. I could also play Stitch Assistant, stack the Lantern Bearer, and get back a Stitch Assistant. I'm not sure. He could also have an instant speed trick here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can go awkward here. But I think I do need to change it nighttime, otherwise this is going to be awkward. So let's lead with the Undying Malice. And hope this resolves. You could have an Abrade here. Maybe I should have exploited first, but then he could have still responded to the Undying Malice trigger. I guess if this dies, I can always just exploit my own Lantern Bearer and get back Undying Malice instead. So actually I don't mind this not resolving. We can see like a removal spell, fight spell here. Alright, so he had a Wolf Strike anyways, sure. So does this resolve? It does. So now I can Stitch Assistant and exploit the Doom Dissenter, make a million copies. And we also get another body that comes in tapped. And we get to get some scries here. Don't need double black. Let's just bottom draw into something good like a Lunar Rejection. No Lunar Rejection. And then I can attack for 1 since I can't block the 8/4. So I probably need to take some damage here or chump the 8/4. I guess it's going to transform nighttime, so I'll just take 4. and just keep making more Rip Hook Mariners and forcing him to I guess I can always just block this or just block here. I think blocking the 2/2 is fine. Take 4. He does get to draw a card, but I have to deal with the spider eventually. And now we get to make a 4/4, exploit the Doom Dissenter, and then use Undying Malice. Right, there's also this, which is kind of annoying. There's Undead Butler I can exploit. So I could lead with the Undead Butler instead. And then I guess I can always use the Rot Tide with the Undead Butler, which isn't the worst. But let's play this out first. Ooh, Lunar Rejection. Alright. So I could set up a turn where I exploit with the Repository Scob and get back Lunar Rejection. I think for now we want to Rot Tide and then exploit, I guess. We can always exploit the Doom Dissenter. Since there's no creature I'm interested in getting back from the yard, I think we just exploit the Doom Dissenter. Make another 2/2. Oh, okay, I guess he wanted to get rid of that. Alright, other than that, we set him pretty far back. And I can also attack with the Scavenger, but probably don't want to since he has higher power. And then we still have some good blocks. Scavenger can block the 4/4. We have a Hookhand Mariner. He could also turn Nighttime and start activating the Ballista Watcher just to be annoying as well. I forgot he could make him sack, but either way, I still think I was fine with that. Otherwise, he can just, like, keep smashing with it, and it gets pretty annoying. But I can now attack with these two creatures. I can start attacking with the 5/4. If he takes out my Lantern Bearer, again, I can get my creature flying, and I do like the incremental damage getting in for 1 per turn. So it makes it almost like a threat that you have to deal with eventually, and it still gets value. If he takes out my Undead Butler, I can just bring back the egg to exploit, which is also kind of fun. So opponent's probably thinking of shifting at nighttime. The 4/4 doesn't transform when it's nighttime too, so let's see what he tries here. So if he takes out Undead Butler, I can just bring back the egg, which I don't mind. Alright, and we can bring back the egg and make a 4/4, and that's pretty cute, so let's exile it. And let's get back a 4/4. I mean 0/4. Play the 0/4 and exploit it with the... Actually, can I do both? Oh, I do have 7 mana, so I think I can do both. Let's lead with it. I guess I don't want to attack with a 5/4 this turn. I could attack with a 2/3 and I don't mind since it has Death Touch. I think I like chipping in with these two. And I don't mind the 4/3 trading since the Rot Tide can start attacking. I could also buy Lumigan Scavenger, since I don't really have an instant I'm interested in getting back outside of maybe Lunar Rejection. And we're going to transform at daytime too, so it's really not that scary. I think I'll leave with the Bilumig first. They probably don't need lands anymore. And then I could always just play out the Diregraph Scavenger and take it slow, although... And then he might turn daytime again to transform. You know what, I think I like the Repository Scob. It does give me a bounce spell next turn. I do want to make a 4/4 and get on the board, so... And then it's going to become daytime. And then we do have a really good board against the opponent. There's no sweepers in red or green, so I'm fine just playing everything out. There is a Vampire's Vengeance, but that only deals 2 damage to non-vampires. And we have a lot of high toughness stuff going on, so... I might actually bounce the Forsaken Thresher, since it does reset him back quite a lot. Even though this only costs 2 mana. If I get another land, that would be fine. I don't mind bouncing the Forsaken Thresher and taking it from there. Okay, and we did get a land, so I don't mind bouncing this, honestly, since then we can attack with the 4/4s. Let's just do it now. And we also get to draw a card, which is really powerful. And then I could sacrifice 2 islands, but I think I'm just going to attack, and maybe we're still fine. Yeah, this is a lot of damage, so even if he gets the best blocks, he still doesn't really have much to follow back with, and we also have a Scavenger. So, yeah, I think we got the game. Easy, so 6-1. And we're top 8 Mythic. Funny. Alright, we're top 8. We're not special, but we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost top 5 Mythic. We're almost top 5 Mythic Crimson Vow. Just need to win the next match. And we get to savor our victory. Alright, can we get the next game and get top 5 Mythic? 6-1. This deck is pretty cool. Again, not a busted blue-black exploit deck, but just very solid and well-rounded. Does have some glaring weaknesses, not a ton of interaction going on. No insane bombs, again, outside of Mirror Hall Mimic, but very solid with some good exploit fodders, good exploit creatures, and a solid curve. And also, we don't have a ton of evasion going on outside the Lantern Bearer, so it can be pretty difficult if we end up in the board stall of some sort. Against a opponent with a lot of removal, it's obviously is a lot worse to play against, since even if we get the Lantern Baron to the graveyard and enchant one of our large creatures, they can just answer our large creatures, and then that's not where we want to be. But I guess Biolume Egg Serpent can be an evasive creature, but we do have to sacrifice double islands, so it's a steep price. So 2-minute mark for a final boss. They're definitely preparing. They don't want me to get to top 5 Mythic. Is this the person to put the nail in our coffin? Who knows? Alright, a gold opponent. Alright, this could be a trickery. I've lost to gold players before. And we can lead with Undead Butler into Skull Scob and hope the Undead Butler can mill a creature. We're on the play. Alright, this is good. Make sure we don't misclick like the game that we lost and get ourselves a swamp. Element of Surprise, not showing him the color. Make sure we crack Evolving Wilds. Get a swamp and make sure we don't misclick. Alright, so make sure we don't misclick. There we go. Butler. Alright, we would have drawn a swamp anyways. Let's get a creature in the yard so we can get some value off here. Alright, Rot Tide isn't bad. And hope he doesn't have a Flame Blessed Bolt, although he would have used it end of turn, I think, on the Undead Butler. Gatekeeper, wow, exiling my creature, that's rude. Well, that's rude. Huh. Yeah, alright. I guess I can Parasitic Grasp. I guess he got a land, interesting. So, whenever player plays a land or casts a spell, wow, he didn't even decide to exile my creature. Alright, now I guess we get to punish him. I could Parasitic Grasp onto this, but I think we just want to play our stuff and start getting some tokens online. So I guess he's trying to be hyper aggro by making me just lose life whenever I play a land, but he's also going to lose life too, so it's not like this actually helps you win the race necessarily. Does the opponent attack? If he does, and I double block, I can take it out. Otherwise, I could just play Lantern Bearer to set up for a Rot Tide on turn 5, take 2 from the Parasitic Grasp, and take it there. And I don't really feel a need of using Parasitic Grasp immediately on the 2-3, since there's a chance that he could attack, I can double block, and then he tries to blow me out, and I can get a nice 2-for-1. So I'm fine just passing the turn. We can use this end of turn on the Fearful Villager, I think, over the Cemetery Gatekeeper, since I don't really mind us racing, since the opponent's also just going to lose 2 here, so that's okay. So we can take this out, and then Ratai Gargantua, and so I do want to kill the Cemetery Gatekeeper here, because by killing the Cemetery Gatekeeper, I don't lose 2 life when I play the island. And then since I'm following up with the Ratai Gargantua onto the Lantern Bear, it's best to just save myself some life and just use it here. He could also have an Undying Malice and instant speed, so I get to prevent myself from losing 2 life here. I can attack with the 1/1 flyer, or I guess I want to exploit this main phase to hit in for 4. Yeah, let's just do that. And we want to get rid of the Lantern Bear, which can eventually give our giants Ratai Gargantua flying. Make a 2/2. And then we get to crash him for 4. The only sweeper in black is the black-white one called the Path to the Peril, and that's mostly black-white. He could also have his own Vampire's Vengeance, which can be kind of annoying, but the 5/4 still survives that. Celebrants, okay. So I could just give my Rot Tide flying and take it from there. I could also just attack with Vol. He blocks the 2/2, but he falls down to 1. If he takes that risk, then the Diregraph Scavenger will kill him. So I could also just attack with Vol, and then if he takes the value block, we can just kill him. So if he's gonna block like this, we can just kill him, since this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we can finish him off with the Scavenger. So yeah, easy game, good games, final boss. But yeah, we'll make sure we exile your Cemetery Gatekeeper for exiling our land. And there we have it. All right, sweet. 7-1, and what's our Mythic ranking? Rank number 7. All right, not just didn't go up too much, but we're almost there still. And I think we're just gonna do another Premier Draft Crimson Vow, maybe. Although I might not have enough time to do it. Not sure. Yeah, we'll probably do another Crimson Vow, and then we might do Strixhaven. Strixhaven will probably be easy mode, since it's a quick draft and most people don't recall previous sets. And then, since it's a bot draft, we can maybe take advantage of the knowledge that some cards wheel, and then that can maybe increase our ranking, the top 5 Mythic. But yeah, not bad. Decent blue-black exploit deck. Nothing special. It's not insane like other more insane blue-black decks I face against. Like, believe it or not, I face against blue-black decks with like 3 copies of Bleed Dry and even a Hero's Downfall. This one only had Parasitic Grasp. And what else? Lunar Rejection as kind of our removal spells, and that was about it. We basically just tried to generate value from exploiting, and sometimes the Rot Tide was able to function as a removal spell just by sacrificing one of our creatures, and then if they're not a go wide sort of deck, we can take advantage of that. So yeah, not a bad deck. Some early sacrifice fodder, some decent payoffs for sacrificing. Biolume Egg was great, and then Triple Gargantua also was pretty great in this deck. And yeah, this is just a medium deck, believe it or not, and we still got to 7 wins with it. So this is an example of why you don't always need to necessarily have an insane plethora of bombs in Crimson Vow Draft to be good. Like, this was kind of like the best card in our deck, but it wasn't like a broken, insane, busted rare, just a very good one. And we still managed to win against our opponents, and we didn't face against too many bombs as well. So definitely don't look down on Crimson Vow Draft. I know the Seal's a horrific format, and it has a bad rap for being this terrific, rare bleed dry slugfest. But the draft portion is actually pretty solid. So yeah, let's just hit done, claim our prize, and we'll do a second Premier Draft. Don't want to reveal the packs. Yeah, why not? Try to do a quick mini draft before we move on to the real one. And quick draft, Strixhaven will be around in about 5 hours. So if I don't get the top 5 Mythic, I might cheat and do Strixhaven. Pack 1, pick 1, easy Celebrants. I would take over Fierce Retribution at this point in this set. Fierce Retribution is good removal, but is also situational, better in a more defensive white deck, since you really want to cast this on for 2 mana, and you want to face against a deck that's attacking a lot, so being able to cast this for 2 is great. The flexibility and upside of casting for 6 is quite solid too, but you really only want to cast this for 2 mana. And Falkcraft Celebrants is just excellent value and also an excellent threat on for 5, so definitely a top 5 common. This is like Burying Books, but in Strixhaven, but definitely not as good as it is in Strixhaven. Burying Books was 3 mana, bounce an attacking creature back, second from top, or 5 mana, bounce, so it does have a cleave effect. Easy Alluring Suitor, one of the best run uncommons, if not one of the best, and definitely one of the best uncommons in the set. Overall, this pack isn't exciting. Scarab Thoughts is okay, Evolving Wilds is okay, and maybe take the Ancestral Anger if I want to end up blue-red. Alright, Banform Hellkite, I guess that's not a gem. Alright, this is definitely a pure bomb. You would play this in any red deck, even in a deck that doesn't have a ton of non-creature spell. A 4-mana 4 for flower is just an excellent body. And then even if you have cheap spells, like just getting in with a 1 power or 2 power flower is excellent. So easy pick here, and then second pick would be Scavenger. Spore Crawler is okay, Catgeist is okay, but I would definitely take those other cards over it. Scavenger is the pick here. No other questions. Cloak Cadets was one of the payoffs for the green-white training deck, but the problem with the green-white training deck was that a lot of the creatures tend to be understated. So even if you get an attack off with it and it gained a counter, it just ends up mostly just getting blanked or traded off in the early game. Plus, this is not a format where aggression is at its best, given that there's a lot of life gain going on in white. So that's also an issue. There's also a lot of high toughness going on. And regardless, this isn't really a controlling format either. It's more like a mid-range set, and you can be slightly aggressive, but not by much. And yeah, this is just too understated. 5-mana 2/4 is not where you want to be in the late game, and then they might just easily double block it and get rid of it, or have a big enough blocker. Been pretty impressed by the Rot-Tide Gargantua, but I would still take Voldaren Epic here first, since red is the best color. And then combined with black and blue, there's just some exploit creatures to get value off of this, making a blood is powerful, and then it's also a vampire for other vampire synergies. So take the Voldaren Epic here, but Rot-Tide was very impressive in the last draft, and definitely a card I think is an overperformer. Okay, Necroduality, I wouldn't mind first picking this card. It only goes in the blue-black deck, so keep that in mind. It's not very flexible, but it's definitely a bomb if you do end up blue-black. So this is kind of like a high variance choice. But I would still take this out of the pack, since the Undead Butler wants to go in the blue-black deck anyway. Same with the Rot-Tide Gargantua and Specimens. And then Pointed Discussion is probably the best common here, but it's not by much. So Necroduality would be a fun build around. And if we open up that next pack, I might just try to force it. So there you have it, first Premier Draft Crimson Vow. Let's get a second one under our way and try to get to top 5 Mythic. So far we drafted blue-black got to 7, blue-red got to 7, black-red got to 7, and then red-green we got to 7. Just didn't dabble onto blue-white or blue-black. I mean white-black or blue-white yet. And those are also pretty good archetypes that we might want to try to get 7 with. But overall, did cover a wide range of archetypes. Went 4 and 3, unfortunately, with our first blue-white draft, but I've gotten 7 before, and I do want to showcase it. Hopefully we open up like Brian Comer or something, or Dorothea, which I wouldn't mind first picking, as someone is sleeping in the pod or trying to queue up with their friends. Alrighty then, let's go. Pack 1, Pick 1, Premier Draft, Crimson Vow. What do we have the fine pleasure of opening? It's a pretty good rare. Yeah, Falcon Wrath Forebearer. It's not like a slam dunk insane rare. Like I could still see taking a Braid or a Flame Blessed Bolt over this Pack 1, Pick 1, but it's a powerful one. Especially if we end up in the Blood deck. Problem is that this can't block, so that's a little bit of an issue, but if you're pretty assertive and you end up in the Blood deck, this is a nice way to generate blood, and then it can just keep coming back as a recursive threat. 3/1 Flyer is also not the easiest to deal with, but you know, it can also get blocked by a Lantern Bearer, so it's not like an unbeatable bomb rare, but definitely a good one and has some weaknesses. So I'll hover it over now. And then uncommons, Wandering Mind and Archghoul are both kind of multicolor cards. This wants to be in blue-black. This obviously wants to be in blue-red. And then at common, Imprisonment is fine. Probably the best common in this pack, but I've been kind of down on this card. So I really think the real picks are Falcon Wrath, Forebear, and Wandering Mind. I would definitely take Wandering Mind over Imprisonment. And given that Black-Red is the best deck, I think we just lean towards Black-Red more than Blue-Red. And this is a Black-Red gold card regardless. So we'll take the Forebear, and then we can follow with Visionary over Diregraph Scavenger. Seems like the choice here. Also, there's Hokan Mariner, which is I don't think is the best green common, but definitely top 3 of the green heap. I would go maybe definitely go Weaver Blossoms, and then Wolf Strike, and then Hokan Mariner, and then Flourishing Hunter, and then Spore Crawler as the final 2. But Voltaic Visionary is great, good 2-drop, and then red's the best color. There's a chance we can always get a Scavenger later if black is open enough and we don't want too many clunky expensive black cards. So take the Visionary. And easy Flame Blessed Bolts. Okay, Infestation Experts also Game Pass, so green could be open for my right hand side, but love seeing a Flame Blessed Bolts, and definitely the best card in this pack. And hopefully black is open enough for us to maybe do another broken boring Black-Red Vampires deck. As we get past Voldaren Epicure, which I'll take here. Best commons pack is probably Heron of Hope. I'm not a big fan of red-whites necessarily, and I think I only like Heron if I have multiple copies of Traveling Minister. Keep in mind we're passing another Hokan Mariner. There's also Twin Blake Ice, which is okay, but it's, from what I've seen, it's actually not even that impressive. It's not too different from the Drogskull Infantry, which is the 2/2 that disturbs for 4 mana and gives a creature +2/+2. Maybe slightly better, but not by much. I'll take an Epic here just to stay mono red, and this is still a pretty good common to have. Alright, can take the Fearful Villager. There's a Chill the Grave if we end up blue-red. A random medium black card, which I don't care about even in the exploit deck. I don't think this card is that great. There's a Spider, so blue-green could be open since we're past a bunch of green cards, but we're going to take the open route here. Just take Fearful Villager as a fine 3-drop. We'll still play this in almost any red deck. And can take a Belligerent Guest, also late Repository Scob. If I pick up more powerful instances and end up in blue-red, this could be fine. But again, we're just going to stay mono-red here and take a Belligerent Guest. And, you know, go from there. Since red seems open. It's fine enough, in the early stages of the set, people thought Sanguine Statue was a Mythic uncommon. I mean, I'll still play in a deck that can make a ton of blood, but honestly, I might just prefer to Bloodpale Celebrant now as a good 2-drop. I'll take it over to Hokan Mariner, even though I do have Hokan Mariner higher than Blood Petal. This just keeps us in red, and it's a fine 2-drop to have. Yeah, I think it's better than Statuette, actually. This is only really going to be active on turn 3, and you're kind of forced to stack a blood to make this work. Whereas I just want a 2/1 first strike on turn 2. Alright, another Visionary, pick 8. This is insane. Definitely one of the best red uncommons in the format. I definitely rate Rending Flame, Voltaic Vision, and the Alluring Suitor higher than Voltaic Visionary. Maybe Blissful Watcher higher than Visionary, but this being a 2-drop might just be better. But love seeing a second copy here. I'll take another Fearful Villager. We could end up red-green since we saw some green cards going late, and then this plays really well in the werewolf deck. Not seeing a ton of black, and then if we end up blue-red, the Ancestral Anger is quite excellent too. If we pick up those Kessick Flame Breathers. Nothing else I'm excited about in this pack. So our first whiff, and this could be a sign blue-red is open since we're seeing late Frenzy Devils, although I don't really care about that much. I'll still take it here over Bramble Armor, and we can take a Crushing Canopy as a sideboard. So black does not look open, but we can definitely bank on maybe red-green being open or red-blue, since we saw them pretty late. Alright, well Giraffe is good, but I'm not sure if it's great in the black-red deck, in the blue-red deck. I mean, I could just take Celebrants, which is just a really strong common. Like, I would definitely first pick Giraffe, and Giraffe plays very well, obviously, in blue-black and blue-green, since you have a lot of high toughness going on. But if you don't have a ton of high toughness, it's just an okay card. It's still going to be above average, but I still think we take Celebrants just to stay open. Like, this is cool, but I don't think it's a slam dunk bomb. And even if I end up blue-red, I still think our deck is going to be strong without it, so I'll take a Falkenrath Celebrants. Lunar Rejection, okay, another Anger. There's also Traveling Minister in whites. The best card is Lunar Rejection. There's also Traveling Minister as a second best card. I think if I end up blue-red, I still want Lunar Rejection over second copy of Ancestral Anger and hope this wheels. I'm not a big fan of red-whites, but we are kind of aggressive in a sense. But this is a huge sign that maybe blue's open. If I wanted to go black-red, there's a Ragged Recluse, which is okay, but I would still maybe take Reckless Impulse over it. Yeah, I'm down to maybe just take the Lunar Rejection, seeing it pick 2, sign that blue's open. And yeah, I've been kind of a little bit down on Impulse. I'll still play it, but I only really like it in blue-red, and if I end up blue-red, I want the Lunar Rejection and Anger anyway, so we'll take the Lunar Rejection here and see if we end up blue-red. We're getting some late blue-red cards, Lambholt Raconteur and Kessick Flame Breather, but I can't go wrong just taking another Falkenrath Celebrants, since I like this in any red deck, whereas these two are more conditional. And then there's a chance we still end up red-green with Hokan Mariners on 4, but I'll just take another Celebrants. Okay, now maybe we can take the Lambholt Raconteur as a sign we should move into blue-red. There's also another Blood Petal Celebrant here. There's also Sporeback Wolf for red-green, but you know, Raconteur is going to be good in red-blue if we end up open. And we should have a decent amount of 2s already, and this is a more powerful card than Celebrants. So we'll stick to Raconteurs. And then pretty late Chill. There's also late Blood Crazed Socialites. There's also, I guess, Wedding Invitation as well. Why do they have to make it so hard on us? Man. So what are we reading here? Black is definitely not open in the first pack. I could also just take a Reckless Impulse. But I feel like with double Celebrants and Belligerent Guests, I think I like the Wedding Invitation. Not only does it keep me the most open, but I'm happy with this in any red deck. Reckless Impulse, again, I've been a little bit down on. It's a little bit strange and awkward if you have too much expensive stuff. I'll take over like the other color cards, but yeah, I hate passing up Socialite, Chill, and Impulse, but Wedding Invitation does keep me the most open. Do we need a million Visionaries? I mean, it's not wrong. We'll be taking a bit of damage. There's also another Voldaren Epic here, but we don't have much to sack to it. There's also just a Stormcarved Coast, which I could take here. Like, if we do end up red-blue, like, the Stormcarved Coast is just a nice dual end we can use to help a bit of fixing. And we're also seeing some late blue cards, so it's most likely we end up blue-red, and I don't know. Let's take the coat. Nah, let's take the Visionary. What am I talking about? Let's just stay mono-red. Okay, so if we end up red-green, the Runebound Wolf isn't bad. So we still can't find our third color for some reason. But I do see a late Scatter Thoughts, which is pretty powerful. So maybe blue-red, as we see a late Childergrave. Okay, we might just go blue-red. I'm kind of liking the blue cards here, seeing it late. And black is definitely not open. Green is slightly open, but we passed up too many Mariners at this point. So maybe we missed out on a Stormcarved Coast. But with triple Visionary, we should be able to keep drawing cards, and even a late Ancestral Anger. Okay, I'm liking blue-red. And a Kessick Flame Breather, pick 11, that's a gift. And keep in mind, Wedding Invitation also plays well with the Kessick Flame Breather. Being a non-creature spell, we can cast a trigger. Alright, so this is looking great. We have a direction to be in, and I think we're going to get rewarded in the next pack. Obviously, we would have wanted to be in black-red with the Falconraft Forbearer, but you can't always have the best of both worlds. Black is a highly contested color, believe it or not, even more than red, which I think red is the better color. And, you know, the Wedding Invitations now with the Wedding Invitations, having a couple of vampires isn't the worst. So just want to lean towards blue-red. Diver Scob is great. There's also another Celebrants here. We don't have much to exploit with a Diver Scob, actually. I mean, you can't go wrong with triple Celebrants, and if blue-red is open, there's a chance we could wield a Diver Scob, believe it or not. Racketeers is also just fine. And we don't have a ton of double blue going on. Let's just take the Celebrants. Best common in this pack. I wouldn't mind first picking the Voice of the Blessed 2 as a rare. If this was a pack 1, pick 1, since it has a high upside if you pick up multiple Traveling Ministers and cards like Heron of Hope. It's quite good. Here, it's a huge sign. Maybe we just end up blue-red at this point. There's also a late Weaver. There's a Weaver Blossom game passed to us. But I feel like we're just better off in blue-red at this point. And then I do like Chill over the rest of the other blue commons. Definitely an overperformer. There's also Sure Strike if we want to be more aggressive. It's fine. But I do like the fact that Chill the Grave cantrips and can get rid of a blocker for a turn. So I'll take a Chill over Weaver Blossoms, which was is a great card too. And the best green common, but I think we're better off doing this blue-red deck instead. Seeing the late blue cards, and we got past Kessick Flame Breather out of nowhere. Ooh, Ballista Watcher's a nice gift, okay. Also some late green cards, Wolf Strike, Reclusive Taxidermist, so maybe green is more open for my right-hand side, but we're still going to take Ballista Watcher. Another great red uncommon, along with we'll take Visionary, Alluring Suitor, and Rending Flame. Yeah, easy. Flame Blessed Bolts over Retribution. Could even go 16 lands if we get too many playables. That's a pretty late Hookhand Mariner. I don't think I need 3 copies of Chill the Grave. It is a good card. Is there a chance we end up red-green? I guess. I mean, it's not wrong. We don't have that many great green cards in the sideboard. We have Runebound Wolf to maybe go red-green. Also, there's a Gluttonous Guess. I'm going to speculate on the Hookhand Mariner. I don't think I need 3 copies of Chill. This should be fine enough. Alright, the best cards are like Minister, Socialite. I guess we can try Cruel Witness if we need a random 4-drop flyer. And then another Fearful Villager. Yeah, none of these cards are impressive. I don't really care about Siphon Essence in this deck. It does seem like a curve-out sort of deck, so... I mean, with 2 copies, I might just take the Siphon Essence, actually. We just want to diversify a bit. And then could take a second Bloodpel Celebrants. Why not? Okay, Syncopate might make the cut. I do like this as the best counterspell I'd common in this format, and it's pretty flexible too. And then, not much here. I don't like the Epic here in this deck. Like, we just don't have ways to sacrifice it. It is a 1-drop, but it's kind of underwhelming. So I might cut it here. And then just play something like this, maybe. Could cut the Scatter Thoughts. Maybe we need the extra flyer to close out. Because we have a lot of card advantage if we'll take Visionary, and maybe we even play an Impulse over it. With the triple Falconrafts, I do like the Wedding Invites. Bloodpel Celebrant might not be that great. It is a vampire, but you know, it's not that much damage. So this doesn't seem bad. I would have loved more Kessick Flame Breathers for sure. So I'm definitely going to play triple Celebrants. Scatter Thoughts could be cuttable. Chill, could see cutting 1 copy, but is also interaction. Kind of liking this. We could also just cut Syncopate and Scatter Thoughts. They both, Syncopates and Scatter Thoughts both play very well in the controlling versions of blue decks, but I feel like we're not very controlling. We're kind of aggressive with what we're trying to do. We're trying to curve out and then deal a ton of damage. Double Ancestral Anger, if we didn't really get there necessarily, it is great with the Kessick Flame Breather, but maybe we don't need it. So I guess this can kind of be our core outline of our deck. We have 4 2-drops, 3 3-drops, 2 4-drops, and then 3 5-drops. So we just want to maximize the power level of this, and how do we do that? Given that we ditched a Scatter Thoughts and we could use card advantage, we could consider the Reckless Impulse as a 1-of. It's definitely an improvement over the Scatter Thoughts. This Cruel Witness is good too. Nice evasive threat, but it is 4 mana, which is kind of awkward. I could also consider the Runebound Wolf. It could be an upgrade over the Bloodpel Celebrant. given that it's also decent mana sink and we have a couple of werewolves in this deck. So why not? Let's actually throw in one Reckless Impulse just as card advantage. One Runebound Wolf isn't the worst. Maybe throw in interesting. If I had more exploit creatures, I would consider the Epicure, but it's just underwhelming. I feel like in this type of deck, could just throw in these double Blood Petal Celebrants and maybe draft some sort of deck that's aggressive bent, and we can also just throw in a Syncopate for just as a random counter spell. Since if we're going to be aggressive and assertive, Syncopate is not bad. I do like being on the play with cards like Syncopate. So it's very interesting. I mean, I could also just throw in a Cruel Witness, given that we're lacking a couple of 4s and we could use an extra flyer. I'm not going to play 2 copies, but 1 could be enough. And then from there on out, we just need 2 more cards in the deck. Maybe I just play Epicure for the hell of it. The Angers is good with the Keswick Flame Breather. If I would love 3 copies. I mean, it's not bad to rack in tiers 2, so maybe we can just throw in double Ancestral Anger just for the hell of it, and that's fine. Like, this is only good with exploits. This is whatever. This is like whatever. This is too expensive. Syncopate is fine. Yeah, we could just try something out like this instead. I mean, the Wedding Invites are only going to be good with Falcon Raft, so I could also see cutting Belligerent Guests. It could be a little bit too clunky on turn 3. And maybe just throwing a Celebrants just to lower the curve. We can even take a risk and go 16 lands, but we do have a lot of card advantage with the Voltaire, since we have a lot of card advantage with the Visionaries. But I do want to hit my land 5 respectively with the Falcon Raft Celebrants. Maybe 1 Blood Petal Celebrant can go in, since it's quite an aggressive 2-drop, plays pretty well with the Ancestral Angers as well. And then we want more 2s and 3s. So, yeah, something like this. The counterspell also isn't the worst, but I feel like we'll be trying to curve out for the most part. This is obviously better in the late game, but we're not really a sort of late game deck. We're just trying to burn the opponent out by being aggressive with our 2-drops, and then try to tap down their stuff and get in as much damage as possible with Ancestral Anger, and then some Menacers and Flyers in the late game. Or, yeah, to the mid to late game. Alright, maybe something like this, and then for the mana base, I think we can just go 10-7 since we need double blue for the Cruel Witness. We are definitely heavy red. I don't know if I can go 11-6, I think that's too much of a risk that I don't want to take. So maybe something like this seems fine. And, yeah, let's give this a shot. I could also go down a land. Do I want to go down a land? Not really, let's just do this. Blue-red. Aggro. Tempo Aggro. It's not a value deck. And let's try to get to top 5 Mythic. We could have triple chill, but it wouldn't have... I think having 2 is fine enough. It does get clunky if you have multiple copies of them. And either way, we still have enough playables in this deck, and it's still a good deck. So... we also didn't wield the Diver Scott, but I mean, quadruple Falcon Raft Celebrants is strong enough, and double blue might not be the easiest to cast, so that's okay. Alright, Visionary and Anger I think I'll keep. And then we can lead with Visionary. If he doesn't play a big blocker, we can just crash in for 3 maybe. Or cycle Ancestral Anger. Knife, alright. So we have a ton of 5-drops. I don't necessarily want to activate this immediately. Although, if I can activate this and then make this into 4-3, the Wretched Throne doesn't have a good block unless he equips a knife. So do I just take the risk and exile? I mean, it's not the worst. I can also play out the Wedding Invite and take it slow. Let's activate. Take the risk. Okay, Runebound Wolf was pretty good. So we'll just play it. And then I do want to get in damage with the Ancestral Anger, so I don't want to use it now. You could always use it as cycle, but doesn't seem great unless I have Kessig Flame Breather. So he might just equip the Wretched Throng and maybe offer to trade, but then I can keep attacking with the Runebound Wolf. He could also have a trick here. And if that's the case, I guess I attack with both. If he decides to block the Runebound Wolf, I can still trample over for 2. Could also lead with Wedding Invitation first. Let's, I don't know, let's play the Wedding Invite and see what's up. He could be holding up a counterspell. This is a little bit odd. He's taking 3 mana to do nothing. He could also be holding Thirst for Discovery. Either way, I think maybe it's fine just to crash in for 4. Or just Ancestral Anger and offer to trade, but then by offering to trade he gets another Wretched Throng. So you know what, I'm going to take the risk and pump the Voltaic Berserker and hope he doesn't have interaction and just try to crash in for 5. Since he doesn't really have any good blocks on this, and then we can crash in for 5 and keep the Runebound Wolf back since this is a much more useful mana sink. Don't want to trade Wretched Throng for it, so you could have a pump spell here too, but most likely it can end up trading, even if it's Massive Might. Cradle, alright, so that's not bad. Even if he draws a Wretched Throng, it's still a trade, and we still trample over for 2. And then if we get more Werewolves, a Runebound Wolf also becomes a powerful mana sink. So yeah, it's a fine 2 for 1. He draws Wretched Throng, but it's not like a 2-1 is that impactful later on. So he gets to kill my Wedding Invitation, sure. I can stack it or not. Rip. Alright, now we can start discarding maybe some lands with the Falkenrath Celebrants. So we probably want to lead with discarding a mountain next turn in case we find a second Falkenrath Celebrants off the top. Infestation Expert. Alright, this is the problem. If he attacks with this, he can start making tokens. I think I still lead with discarding a mountain here. You can always double block with a 1/1 token and a 4/3, and I don't necessarily want that. So this is fine. Ooh, another Celebrants. I guess I can attack and play a second copy, offer a trade for the token and the 4/3, which I'm fine with. If he takes 4, that's good. And then we'll just play out another Falkenrath Celebrants, and then next turn we can double Visionary or discard a mountain and take it slow. He might equip the Infestation Expert in attack. In that case, I will block it, since it just makes tokens and I don't want that. Passes nighttime, so alright. I guess I can just play Visionary and Cruel Witness and take it from there, and switch it back to daytime, since he has a good double block on my 4/4. And I don't want to discard land because I need to discard the blood. And yeah, we'll pass a turn, switch it daytime. And there's no sweepers in blue-green. He might be keeping up a interaction spell because he's just passing the turn doing nothing. Rejection, sure. Still switches daytime. And we can keep crashing for 3. Alright, another Wretched Throng, so we don't necessarily have good attacks. Attacking with the 4/3, I could just block with the 3/1 Visionary since we have a second one. And I don't really want to trade off any of these, so this is fine. We don't get to draw a card, but again, we're making so many blood tokens, I don't really mind. And then we can still double spell this turn. Next turn we can start discarding lands and then taking it from there. He could also chump with the Lantern Bearer and then and then attach onto his Infestation Expert and attack. So I might want to stay back here and do nothing, actually. Maybe we can sit back with a Runebound Wolf and start burning the opponent out. And he just drew a million cards, so that's funny. Okay. Another Celebrants? Sure. I think we can begin by discarding a land, of course. Could also activate the Visionary, but I do have a Falkenrath Celebrants planned out already, so we'll play this, and then we can also just discard another land end of turn. And then I don't really want to attack, or I can. If I attack with two of these, I mean, he's most likely going to chump with the Lantern Bearer and make a flyer, which is annoying. But maybe that's okay. Or I can sub a turn with more Falkenrath Celebrants getting in there, and that's fine. But he can also turn Nighttime. I think I attack this time. He's going to chump with the Lantern Bearer, I have to imagine, and double block one of the Celebrants. Oh, right, he blocks the 3-4. Okay, I'm fine with that. We'll exchange for the Infestation Expert for sure. And then, yeah. We'll discard land end of turn. Don't care about the Wretched Throngs. And he doesn't have any more left in the library, so we still have a good board state. But we're up ahead in tempo, but the opponent has a lot of value. Millipede's fine. It's going to be quite large, though, so I need to maybe close out the game in a timely manner. Mills his Hullbreaker Horror, so that's one of the bombs in the set that I was afraid of. Yeah, I got I can't really. None of these emotes are nice, so whatever. See Wolf Strike. All right, so flyer down. So we probably need to try to win through some other means, since this 9/9 is going to crash in for a ton of damage and going to become a problem. Flame Blast Bolt, we can take out the 1/1 flyer. I could also activate the Visionary first, which is fine. I get to draw a card and play it. Shield, okay, Shield of Grave was a perfect pickup, so that was a really nice gift. And then we can bolt the Lantern Bearer, or I can force a double block and then bolt. I think I like that. So if he tries to block with Lantern Bearer, we get to get a nice 2-for-1 here. So he probably wants to double block the Runebound Wolf, and then we can bless both the Lantern Bearer, prevent it from coming back as an aura, crash in for 4, play Fearful Villager, and then keep the land in hand to discard next turn, so that's fine. Could have another removal spell here. Surprised I even won that, honestly. I thought after the turn the opponent just drew a bunch of cards, it was game over. But I think the fault was he decided to trade off the Infestation Expert. Maybe he should have. I think the right play for him was to maybe chump block the Lantern Bearer and then just make a big flyer. Like if you enhance the Infestation Expert and you keep crashing and you can just make 1/1 chump blockers all day, and it can go out of hand. But I guess he was maybe hoping to maybe give the Millipede flying to win. So I'm surprised I even caught there. I mean, the opponent didn't really have that much of an impressive deck. So, alright, 6 and rank 6 Mythic. Let's try to get to top 5. Okay, we don't have any early game, so this is kind of awkward. We do have triple lands. The Shield of Grave isn't necessarily great, and plus the Anger without a creature is kind of awkward. So I need to hope to draw into some sort of creature I can play. That being said, with both of our colors, I think I'm still going to keep here, but this can be kind of odd if we don't have anything to back up the Shield of Grave, and we do want to be fairly aggressive in this sort of deck. But I think I have to risk it here, because I have both colors, and you know. Alright, so that's a problem. And we didn't draw a creature, so I'm hoping we can hopefully get a 2-drop. I could maybe cycle the Anger, actually. Maybe that was the right thing to do, so I can maybe hit a 2-drop or something next turn, make it more likely. Okay, a 2-drop at least. Alright, Visionary. The pack leader is going to become a problem, so I do need to find removal to deal with it. Otherwise, it's a 3-2, but I can also trade for it if he decides to get aggressive, which I don't mind. So if he enhances into 3-2, I don't mind trading. I'm going to trade here. Like, I don't get a card draw, but this is a problem later. So I really don't want playing like a 4-drop here and then just going off with the Ascended Pack Leaders. And we might even Ancestral Anger next turn, or just take 3, set up a Lamphold Racketeer. Okay, that's a good one. Another Visionary. I could also trade for the Ragged Recluse. Again, I'm not drawing cards off of this, but I mean, I'll be making blood tokens on turn 5 regardless, and I just don't want to get run over from this very aggressive start from the opponents. Ceremonial Knife can also make blood, so I'm down to actually trade here. Since this is going to become a pretty annoying threat, and this is a decent block, so I'm going to block. You can also make this unblockable, but I think this trade is fine. I lose out on a bit of value, but we have triple Voltaic Visionaries, plus again, blood we can discard later with the Falcon Rafts, so not a big deal. As long as we don't die, we're fine. And now the Racketeers plus Ancestral Anger plus the other non-creature spells can maybe start going to town. Alright, Bleed Dry is okay. We still have Celebrants that can keep crashing in for a ton. And the opponent's almost out of gas too. Can cycle Ancestral Anger, and then maybe even chill something if he plays something large. Just offered a trade for both of these. I mean, if this is a 5-power creature, the thing is, if it's 5-powered, then he can't necessarily go for a good double block. Otherwise, he loses both. So I think I'll attack with the Falcon Rafts and offer a double trade. And then we can always just play the Fearful Villager and then discard land end of turn. Might even chill the Grave, and then will we shove enough mana to cast a second chill? So we'll say go and discard a land, and then take it from there. You could also equip here, attack for 3, make a blood. But again, I'm fine. Opponent might just attack here, surprisingly being aggressive with a 2-3. He might have something to follow up the Celebrants. If he just... Okay, Brambleworm, alright, that's a scary one, so that's definitely a card I want to tap down. It is a problem card though, since it's gonna halt my ground creatures. So, but I'm still gonna main phase the chill, I think, or sacrifice blood first. Maybe we need to set up a board first, but we'll see. Let's discard the land. Alright, now we'll chill. Keep up both colors. And we can still play out Runebound Wolf. Alright, so we're still staying up a decent board state. If we can deal enough damage, then eventually maybe we can burn him out with the Runebound Wolf. I could also just pass the turn, chill the Grave, and activate Runebound Wolf at 7 mana next turn. Surprise the opponents are being aggressive, so I guess he wants to start looting and finding more card advantage, which I'm fine with because we can just attack back for a ton. So I actually don't mind him attacking. So he's maybe looking to discard some lands, maybe find a creature. And then we can still tap down the Brambleworm next turn and take it from there. Hopefully no creature. Hokan Mariner, alright, that's not what I want to see. Both of these creatures have Menace still. So I can still crash in for 6, tap down the Brambleworm on this turn, but I guess this can transform into an annoying threat too next turn, so I need to draw maybe a secondary spell next turn in order to stabilize, like a Falcon Raft Celebrants. This was a really nice gift. Alright. I should be able to survive next turn even if I take 7. So we definitely want to attack here. I could also chill here, get in for a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then I'll still be dead, so I think we attack with the Menace creatures, play the Celebrants. Can even discard land end of turn, and take it from there. Yeah, let's just play this out. We can even discard land. I guess we might be forced to chump here, but that's okay. Say go. I guess he can make his 7-power creature unblockable, and if he does make his 7-power creature unblockable, then I'm forced to trade. So yeah, I guess I'm forced to chump and trade if he does that, but then I should still maybe be okay. Okay, so I'm still going to be alive if he makes the Brambleworm unblockable. So let's see, if he only attacks with it, I can just still chump and I'm still fine. So do I want to chump this? It's only 2 damage if I activate this next turn. I could also just take 8. If he stays back, I'll take 8 if he attacks. Alright, so now he's attacking. So the question is, do I chump? If I chump here and then I attack with all 3 of these, if I chump here and I tap a creature and I attack with all 3, then I win. So I think I chump block the 4/4, take 8. Okay, never mind. So he's going to make that unblockable, so I might be forced to double block. So 4 damage is getting through. If I chump block here, then 6 damage, so I'll be dead. So I'm forced to double block the Brambleworm. At least it dies, but yeah. I was hoping I can maybe crash through and win. So before damage, I just want to activate the blood. Maybe we can find something good off the top next turn to hopefully win. He can also make it nighttime and then this can transform, but he can gain 5 life off of this as well. So we're not in a good spot. We need to hopefully find a removal spell and then take down the Reclusive Taxidermist with maybe a Flame Blessed Bolt, tap down the Hookhand Mariner, and take it from there. As it's nighttime. Alright, so let's begin by discarding the land and hopefully get something good. Could also just main phase on the Hookhand Mariner. Darn, we aren't drawing anything good. So if I tap this down, I'm dead because I'll be taking 6, so I probably need to attack with both and offer a trade, since I'm not going to win if I stay back on defense all day. He's going to gain 5 regardless, so he gets to trade a Scavenger for something. Alright, I guess he can take 8. I guess he has lethal if he equips onto something else. Let's just hope he doesn't have that. So we'll pass a turn. And then on his turn we can tap down the Rip Hook Raider. Doesn't even use the Brambleworm end of turn, so that's interesting. So he moves to combat. That's funny, he didn't even decide to equip. So this might just cost him the game here. Because he could have easily equipped on the Reclusive Taxidermist or Scavenger and hit me back. But now maybe I get to punish him for moving to combat and not equipping. Regardless, he still gets to survive with the Brambleworm. As he plays a second one. Alright, that's probably just game over. I guess I can double spell, switch it to daytime. I can attack with both, but then he'll be playing a big Trampler, which I don't necessarily want to do. I might actually just attack with the Fearsome Werewolf just to offer a trade. If he double blocks, I mean, he'll be trading for a Reclusive Taxidermist, so it's not necessarily ideal. If I attack with both, I guess I can still maybe chump and take 4 trample. No, I don't want to do that. Especially if it turns daytime. So maybe the game plan is just to play both creatures and take it slow. I could also just play this and pass. I mean, I could also play this attack with both. 4 damage goes through, I can burn him. I mean, 4 damage is guaranteed if I attack with both. But he gets to get a good double block, which isn't necessarily the best. Maybe I just play Gruul Witness, make it daytime, and take it from there. maybe this is a game where I can't afford to be aggressive, and maybe just have a double block on the Bramble Worm. But this isn't looking great. Double Worm is not where I want it. It's difficult to race. So yeah, probably the best green uncommon, or one of the best at least. So probably just definitely want to trade off for the Bramble Worm. Maybe keep these two back. If we get another land, we can activate this 3 times to kill some creatures as well. Can always chump the Hookhand Mariner, or trade off for it, or block it and then use the Ballista Watcher to ping it. So lots of options. Gotta keep in mind if he has 4 creatures in the graveyard, the Reclusive Taxidermist also transforms. So we're kind of in a rough spot regardless. I guess I can use 3 copies of Chill. Alright, so he's going to equip here, and then this is going to be a large Trampler. I can still double block this, but I definitely need to block. So how about, if I chump here, I'll be taking 4, so I'll be dead. So I need to put 2 creatures in front, and these are the 2 worst ones. And at least it can trade off at least, so... Taxidermist will become a 4/4. He gets to make a blood token. So either way, we're kind of in trouble. He has 12 life with the Bramble Worm. I guess he can activate this twice as well to gain up to 17. So either way, I'm going to be pretty far behind. So it's not looking great here. So I might have to pass a turn, transform Nighttime, and then use the Ballista Watcher to maybe block the Hookhand Mariner, and then just ping and finish it off. Assuming I can get a land and just pass it. Nighttime. But it's not looking good here. And then once I can kill the Hookhand Mariner, I can take out the Scavenger, and this can block the 4/4. So ideally, I want to just get a land and just do nothing and pass the turn. Then we can start maybe pinging face, actually. Opponent uses a land, so that means he can only gain 5. Alright, so ideally, I don't mind just getting a land here, and then we'll just pass the turn. We can block the Hookhand Mariner and then just ping him out, and we'll take it from there. So he should gain life end of turn, honestly, if he's smart. Alright, and he does. This is still 1/2. So ideally, I just want to block this and activate the Ballista Watcher once. I guess I can activate twice on the Reclusive Taxidermist and then activate once on the Mariner, end of turn. So, alright, I'll take 2. And I can fall to 1, which is okay. So just block. And then we want to activate on our end step. And then kill the Taxidermist first. I could have also activated now to deny him a bit of ramp. Yeah, I'll just activate it now just to deny ramp. And we want to kill this first. And then I guess we can still ping out the Scavenger on his turn as well. On our turn, and then smash him for 5. Also have to keep in mind the Ballista Wielder can also get blockers out of the way if we activate the ability, so I forgot about the can't block clause. But either way, we still weren't going to win we still weren't going to beat a double Bramble Worm. So now I can take out his creatures on my turn, and we should be able to close out, even if he turns it daytime. So now we can activate this 3 times. Don't think I need to play out land. There's a chance we can get another Falkenrath Celebrants. And yeah, now we can crash in for 5 and take it from there. Alright, we were saved. Ballista Wielder doing his job. Could also play lands, but I highly doubt we're going to get to 12 anytime soon. So having 3 activations is fine. I guess I can kill him next turn if he doesn't have anything. Or not, never mind, a Flourishing Hunter, so that's just about game over. One moment. So the game plan here might just be to chump and then maybe burn his face. He does get to have 5 extra life, but this Flourishing Hunter is a problem. I could also just block and trade, but I don't really need to activate the Visionary at this point in the game, so I think I'm going to chump. And then maybe Ballista Watcher twice in his face end of turn. But he's probably also going to keep up 3 mana just so he can get rid of Brambleworm. So this is a rough game. Opponent just has too many large creatures. He could also double spell the turn daytime. And he's also just drawing cards every single turn with the blood, so we're not in a good spot. But there's still faith I can maybe top deck something good. Like maybe a second Falkenrath Celebrants would be useful, so I can at least block and take out the Flourishing Hunter. But now we'll just burn him twice. And we're probably not going to attack since the Brambleworm can gain him 5 life. So we just need to top deck something good. Or even just a creature we can chump block with, and we should be fine still. As we get a land, so we probably need to block and trade now, which is quite unfortunate. But, yeah, I think we have to, so we'll say go. Block the Flourishing Hunter, ping him twice, and then ping once to trade off. But yeah, this is definitely the opponent we don't want to face against. Lots of high toughness creatures, and a ton of ramps, so gotta go for this exchange, unfortunately. Even though Ballista Wielder had an out to win the game for us. And I'll just send 2 into his face just in case. If I had a chump blocker, I might just keep this back and then just ping his face in the turn and maybe swing back in for lethal, or just put him back on defense. But as it stands, yeah. We just need to hope we get lucky. Statue can hit us for 1 and kill us. Same with Apprentice Sharpshooter, so we're probably dead. A Flame Blessed Bow would have been better early on, so yeah, GG's. Could have stabilized, but it was rough. 2 back-to-back Brambleworms, Flourishing Hunter. Yep. So if you're drafting Black-Green, make sure you just draft a bunch of big creatures and auto removal you can get, and you should be fine. But in terms of synergy and color pairing, they just don't. It's not. They just aren't. They're probably the worst 2 pairs to be in, since black and green doesn't synergize outside of high toughness matters. Black is highly contested around the table. Bleed Dry is kind of clunky, and yeah, you're playing a ramp deck, so you need some mana dorks. Otherwise, the more aggressive decks can just punish you. But sometimes you just have to try. Alright, back to 8. Let's keep playing. Maybe if he only had 1 Brambleworm, we could have gotten there. But 2 was just too much. Opening hand, Visionary on 2, Anger. Yeah, we'll keep. Question is, which one do I lead with? Visionary hits harder if he doesn't have a 2-drop. Although the Runebound Wolf lines up better against the Hopeful Initiate, so probably just play the Runebound Wolf. Not sure if I want to attack next turn. I could also trade for the Hopeful Initiate if he manages to train onto it. Wretched Throng, that's a little bit annoying. I could always set up a bounce on the Hopeful Initiate. I mean, if I trade for the Wretched Throng, it isn't the worst here since he doesn't get to train on the Initiate. And we get to cycle Ancestral Anger and take it from there, so I'm down to just trade. And if he trains on, and if he takes it, that's fine. If he trades for it, it's fine. I just don't want him training on this Initiate. Alright, so he definitely wants to trade on the Initiate. I can also just take it next turn, honestly. Like, this is annoying, but I have a bounce spell, and I have a Celebrance following up. And this can eventually attack past the Wretched Throng, so I could just take 4 and just play a slow game. We can attack for 5 on the way back, bounce the Hopeful Initiate to reset the counters. So I might be down to just take 4 here, and we should be able to outrace since we're dealing a little bit more damage. So it's reasonable, I think, to Chill decides to use Chill on it, so he was afraid I was actually going to trade. I'll take 4. Traveling Minister, that's a good one. Don't want to trade a Runebound Wolf. The Hopeful Initiate is a problem though, but we can always bounce it if he tries to do anything. I think I'm fine attacking for 2, and then we'll bounce the Hopeful Initiate if he tries to train onto it. Or I guess we can always bounce the Wretched Throng to prevent a life gain from happening. But by bouncing the Hopeful Initiate, we do get to prevent the training counter. We do get to reset the training counter. And this can also attack into the 2/3 next turn. So I might just bounce the Hopeful Initiate anyways, even though he can play it for 1 mana. So this is a decision point here. I mean, this is more expensive, so if he has something to follow up, maybe this is just better. This is also annoying. You know what, let's just bounce the Hopeful Initiates. And then the Falkenrath Celebrants can also just start applying a bit of pressure, gain us some card advantage from the blood tokens. I could also just attack with both next turn too. If he trades a Hopeful Initiate, I guess I don't really want to trade Visionary for Hopeful Initiates. Might have to keep the 2/2 back actually next turn, or the 3/1. Maybe the 3/1's fine keeping back to trade for the Initiate if it gets out of hand, and we can still attack for the Runebound Wolf. He could also have a counter spell here. Okay, Stitch Assistance. Attacking the Visionary isn't the worst. And again, we're making blood to prevent ourselves from flooding. I can also just attack with both. If he has a removal spell, that might get kind of awkward. Maybe it's still fine, since I do want to apply a ton of pressure against a deck with Traveling Minister. Next turn, we might want to just discard Blood first in case we find another Celebrants off the top. I can also make this unblockable and gain 4. Binding Geist, a little bit annoying. So then he does have a good block on my Celebrants. But I can still take out both of these. I guess I want to find a Flame Blessed Bolt to answer the Binding Geist. So let's see. Well, the Falkenrath Celebrants would have been great here, but unfortunately I think we just need to just take it slow. I think I'll make this unblockable. I could also just attack, honestly. but the Binding Dice is a problem. It can train on to the 1-2 next turn. So I might just attack with both. He could just double block and take it from there, and that's also annoying since the Binding Dice can just bring back an aura, and there's a Wretched Throng. Yeah, this isn't great. I could also just stay back with the 4-4, honestly, since I can just block everything. Maybe I just stay back and just say go. Like, I guess he can enhance the Binding Dice and make it into a 4-4, but then the 2-2 can just block it, and I can block on the Hopeful Initiative if he tries to train onto it, so it would have been nice to, again, have discard land into Falcon Wrath, but his draws don't always line up clearly like that. If I was attack, he would just double block and, you know, nerf my Runebound Wolf, attack for 2. But by doing this, at least if he pumps the Binding Dice, I can still block the 2-2 with it. And then the 4-4 this 4-4 can still disincentivize an attack with the Hopeful Initiate by not allowing it to train. Alright, decides to pump the Wretched Throng instead. So this is very interesting. I'm probably just going to block here and block here if he decides to attack. Don't really care about the Wretched Throng. Or block the Wretched Throng, but he does get to draw another one, which is also concerning. The Binding Dice can be used on Falcon Wrath, but a 2-4 is still fine at blocking. So this is very interesting. Opponent just decides to play everything out instead. Alright. I still have some good blocks. Alright, and does nothing. Alright, so that's not bad. So we probably want to leave with the Celebrants here. And then I guess we're fine playing out a blue source regardless. Play Celebrants and then don't have any 2-drops to discard. I could also just make one of them unblockable and attack for 4, gain 4 life, and we still have some decent blocks on the way back. I guess with the Distracting Dice, he can tap something down, so maybe I just say go and set up a wider board. Because he can tap something down with the Distracting Dice if he attacks on with it, and that's really annoying. He can pump the Twin Blade Dice and offer a trade with the Falcon Wrath Celebrants. I guess that's his plan. I might have to just take 4 and maybe start looting with the blood tokens to find something good off the top. But this is kind of awkward. I mean, I can just offer to trade, but then he gets to load this up onto another creature. But then I might be able to punish him if he does that. Okay, so he's going to use on the Binding Dice, interestingly enough. So I probably just want to trade the Runebound Wolf if he attacks with it. Since then he doesn't really have any good targets for the Binding Dice to enchant onto. He can tap down a blocker, but then I still have 2 extra blockers. So I just want to maybe set up a better board state against the opponent. Decides to train, so I definitely want to block the training creature. He might have a pump spell like Adamant Will, so maybe I should have found a Flame Blessed Bolt first. Let's discard land first. Maybe I should have looted first before he trained so I could have access to a Flame Blessed Bolt. No Flame Blessed Bolt, okay, so didn't get punished regardless, but we still have some good blocks, so let's move the blocks. I guess I'll block like this. He keeps a training counter, but I get to take out both of these at least. And this is still going to take a while to grow even larger. If his creatures aren't large enough. Could see another instant here, like an Adamant Will, which would be pretty bad. So yeah, if I had Flame Blessed Bolt, I can punish him. Okay, he doesn't. Alright, that wasn't bad. He does get to load up 2 auras here. He can shrink down one of my 4-4s, but they can still block pretty reasonably well, so I'm not really scared. Brine Comer is a problem, I guess. Yeah, Brine Comer is a big problem here. So I need Flame Blessed Bolt to answer Brine Comer now, or a potential aura that goes on to Brine Comer. Alright, more Wretched Throngs, so the opponent's playing some blue exploit creatures. I can double spell. I guess I'm fine discarding land first still, since I have 6 mana available, so let's do this. And I guess Cruel Witness is still a really good blocker. Okay, Reckless Impulse. I mean, I think I want to step the Cruel Witness into Voltaic Visionary first. He can still enchant a creature to tap it down, but I don't mind if he taps down a creature and get into decent attack, since I do want to just gain some life. So I'll attack for 4 here. I can also attack with both of these, but then he has two good double blocks with the Wretched Throng, so I think I'm fine crashing for 4 and gaining 4. And next turn we can Cruel Witness, and also Surveil with the Cruel Witness. Eventually maybe find a Flame Blessed Bolt to answer Brinecomer, and then try to close out the game that way. Four copies of Wretched Throng. Oh, never mind, it's only 3 copies. It's a card you really want in the blue-black exploit deck for the most part. But you can make the case of playing it even in, I guess, any color combination, to be honest. But it's not a card I'm too high on. So he's probably going to use the 5 mana to tap something down, I have to imagine, and attack. I still have some good blocks with the Falkenrath Celebrants. I'm also quite surprised he didn't pump the Twin Blade Geist with the Traveling Minister yet, since that would have been at least a good trade. Okay, so he wants to do that, make a 1/1, sure. And then when he attacks, he can tap down my 4/4. So I still probably need to make some trades here. So the 2/4 is probably gonna stick around. I could also just double block the 2/4 with the Cruel Witness. I do lose the flyer, but then we don't have to deal with the training creature. Alright, I guess we can always just block the Brinecomer. Okay, I guess we just want to block the other Wretched Throngs, since I don't think he has any more left in his library. So opponent's thinking hard. I don't want to lose my flyer, though. But with the Brinecomer around, I guess we do want to just kill the Brinecomer, right? So we're probably fine letting the Hopeful Initiate train. And then what we can do is just block here, and I guess block here. So this doesn't become a problem later. The 3/4 is a problem, but we can still block it pretty reasonably well. Ballista Watcher was a nice gift. I could also Reckless Impulse first. Yeah, let's Impulse first. Fearful Villager, do I care about that? I'm planning to cast Ballista Watcher this game, and the 2/3 doesn't seem that exciting. I think I'm fine just putting it in the graveyard. Flame Blessed Bolt was a nice gift. Okay, so now we can bolt the Twin Blade Geist. I mean, we can play until end of turn. So actually, let's just play out the Ballista Watcher and keep up Flame Blessed Bolt, I think. I could also just attack with 1 Falkenrath Celebrants and a 3/3 and take it from there. Since either way he doesn't have any good blocks. Later, I guess he can pump with the Hopeful Initiate, so I might want to bolt the Traveling Minister instead. Let's just attack with these 2. He's highly unlikely to block. If he double blocks this, I guess I can blow out the Twin Blade Geist and then trade for the Hopeful Initiate. If he doesn't, we can still keep up the Flame Blessed Bolt. Alright, this is fine. Interesting. I mean, this doesn't kill the Celebrants, so I guess it's just a chump block. He can always enhance the Traveling Minister with the Twin Blade, but I guess I'm fine just Flame Blessing Bolt Minister if he tries to use it on the Initiate. I'm just going to use it on the Traveling Minister now. I think is the most problematic card. And then we'll keep us Celebrants on top. Like, let's just say he gives double strike to the 3/4. I can still block it, the 4/4, and trade for it, unless he, I guess he can, yeah. Whereas if he pumps the Hopeful Initiate, gives a double strike, then I can't have a good block on it. So I think this is okay, and then, yeah, I guess he just concedes. Alright. That was a little bit of a puzzle to solve. The Ballista Watcher was going to end the game regardless. Like, the only real threat was the 3-4 Hopeful Initiate. And then we could have just used the Ballista Watcher to keep burning his stuff. I mean, there's an argument not using the Blessed Bolt on the Traveling Minister because, again, Ballista Watcher could finish it off. But if he, again, pumped his 3-4, gave it double strike, then I wouldn't have a good block. Whereas if he did give double strike to his 3-4, I could still block at the 4-4 and offer to trade. And then he would have been forced to use the Binding Geist Aura to lower the power level to my 2-4 and force a chump. But I was still in a very good position, so that was a fun game. A decent puzzle. Alright, 2-drop, 3-drop, seems good. Into a 4-drop. So we'll probably be activating the Visionary later. Ooh, alright. Interesting. So, a multicolor deck. And he gets to find his third color from the mulch. Weaver Blossoms. I'm fine offering to trade. Weaver Blossoms is a scary creature. I don't really want to untap with it, so this is fine. Alright, so I'm hoping he doesn't ramp into any insane 5-drops like another Infestation Expert. Otherwise, the game plan might just be to burn him with Raconteer and maybe the Keswick Flame Breather. If he passes the turn, I can just attack with the Villager. Alright. Wolf, alright. Don't necessarily want to trade for a Sporeback Wolf either. I could always just attack with both and then offer to trade. He's most likely just going to block here and then allow 2 to pass, or just double block here. It's probably just a Raconteer, and we can keep the Visionary for value later. Set up a Celebrants, and then we can start drawing cards. Mariner. Snarling Wolf. Alright, at least the opponent isn't ramping into like a Brambleworm like the game we lost towards. So it's not that big of a deal. I think I'm fine playing out the Celebrants and taking it from there, and then we can start maybe going off of our non-creature spells and eventually doing that. So if he attacks with a Hookhand Mariner, let's say he has a massive might, so that's +2/+2 in trample, I might want to just end up double blocking with the Fearful Villager and Celebrants. Worst case scenario, he has a Sure Strike. This can become a 4-powered creature, so I might want to block with the Fearful Villager. Since I do have a backup Villager, and this can be a problem. Or set up a double block against it. Toxic Scorp, so he's going to give us creature Death Touch, so I don't necessarily want to double block the Snarling Wolf. Although he can't really equip, I guess he can equip and still activate. So I don't really have any good blocks regardless. So I could just put the Visionary in front of it, to be honest. Yeah, maybe Visionary can go. I have a second backup, and I don't really want... and this is going to become a problem later. So that's fine, and even if he pumps it, I get to trade off. And then I might want to save the anger until it becomes nighttime with the Raconteer. This is also a problem card. Flame Blessed Bolt isn't bad. So I probably just want to double spell this turn and take it from there. Fine, taking 2, can even trade off a Fearful Villager for the 2/1. Or again, save the Flame Blessed Bolt for it. We'll say go. I just don't want making blood forever, so I might just block with the Villager, and that's fine. To use this for maybe a Sporeback against a Sporeback Wolf if he goes for a double block. And I hope he doesn't have like a giant Bramble Worm or Flourishing Hunter. I think I'll block it because I just want him to move the equipment around, and I don't want him making a ton of blood, so this is okay. It's a trade down for sure, but this way he's forced to equip. There it is, Flourishing Hunter. That is not what I want to see. As we get Ballista Watcher here. Doesn't do anything. I guess I'll play Ballista Watcher, keep up Flame Blessed Bolt, and maybe trade. I could also just attack with here, and then if he double blocks, I can just finish out the Flourishing Hunter anyways. Guess that's okay. Although he could just take 4. Never mind. We probably just need to 2-for-1 ourselves by blocking the Flourishing Hunter and finishing off the Flame Blessed Bolt, or just double blocking it. Like I could just see double blocking this. Although if he equips here, it's going to be a 7 power. Alright, that's a better target. Don't need to use Blessed Bolt now, so I probably need to go for a multi-block on the Flourishing Hunter. Scavenging Hunters also... Diagraph Scavenger is also a problem. So there's not... So the thing is, I do need another land to deal with the Paxton Pup next turn. I don't know if I can risk it though. I mean, we'll take Visionary. I might be able to get a land and double activate on the Paxton Pup, so we'll let this transform. Maybe we'll probably just block the 6/6 and use Blessed Bolt to finish it off. If not, then I guess I can save it for next turn regardless. I could always use it now and then have mana available to Blessed Bolt next turn. Yeah, let's just do this then. This is fine. Alright, we'll activate Visionary. Get a land, that's good. So now I can always activate the Watcher twice and make it nighttime. But that's also kind of scary. If I turn nighttime, this becomes a 6/4. I might be forced to trade the 4/4 in front of it. I can always, again, just double block the Flourishing Hunter or block it once and activate the Watcher twice. Do I just want to play out Visionary, though? I think I might just want to turn nighttime and say go. Although, again, I don't really have any great targets. I think we just say go. And I still have some decent blocks. Can use a 4/3 in front of 6/6 and ping him twice. The Lambholt Ravager might be a win condition, so I might want to keep this around. Although the 4/4 just remains a 4/4 all day, so there's some questionable decisions to be made. Alright, so blocks attacks like this. I'm definitely going to take 2. I guess we can block like this, and then... We do have 3 copies of Celebrants in the library, so I'm fine maybe just throwing this under the bus, since I might want to deal some damage with the non-creature spells. So sure, let's try this block, and hope we don't get punished too badly. And then on the stack, before he sack, I think I'm just going to activate the Flourish this on the 6/2 and hope he doesn't have a pump spell. I guess he has a pump spell. Okay, so he's going to sacrifice in response. And then in response, I'll just activate this again and hope he doesn't find another pump spell out of nowhere. Otherwise, I can get punished pretty badly here. Alright, so he doesn't get a pump spell. I can then activate the Wielder on the 2/2 and kill it. Play another Visionary. And then now we can just block the 4/4s with the Ballista Watcher. Alright, yeah, let's attack for 4 since it's highly unlikely he's gonna... I mean, we can't block with this anyways, so fine offering to trade. And then I could just activate this twice, but then I don't get to play Falconraft Celebrants. Yeah, you know what, let's play the Celebrants. And then I'm fine taking 2 again. We can always just trade, I guess, for the Scavenger. Like, I could just trade the Raconteers for this. Like, I'm not going to get to 9 mana anytime soon, and we might just try to win the game with creatures instead. So yeah, if he's going to do that, then I might just trade the Ravager. Unfortunately, we're going to miss out on some damage, but I think the Celebrants is just a better card, so let's just offer to trade. And then we can set up some good attacks next turn. Alright, we can anger first, or discard land first. I guess I don't want to, I guess we can anger first and play land, because if we do, we can just activate this twice and take out this Sporeback Wolf. We'll be switching to daytime though, or we can just attack first. I think we attack first. Maybe we save the anger. Okay, since he's gonna make the block anyways, I guess we allow that to happen. And then I guess now we can discard land. Fine taking 3, or we can play Visionary, block, and then activate, which is also not a bad idea, since we have blood to activate anyway, so we'll say go. Can also switch to daytime as well. That's rude. Alright, I guess we'll just have to keep taking damage. So we'll probably take 3. He makes a blood token, and then we might need to just try to swing back to win the game. We have some good card advantage with the Visionary and the Falconraft Celebrants, so yeah. Hope he just doesn't draw anything large. It's like another Flourishing Hunter would be problematic. Catapult Fodder is also problematic, but we can maybe attack past it. Let's activate the Visionary first. Alright, so another land, not what I want. Guess we can lead by discarding first. Maybe find something good to at least block and prevent him from going off. Bloodpelt Celebrant's okay. Not amazing. I guess I'll just use this now. I'm fine maybe taking 4 on the way back. Ooh, Lunar Rejection was a nice one. Alright. That was a gift. We can then attack for 5 and then bounce the Blossom-Clad Vampire pre-combat, and then take it from there. I'm actually going to let him attack first, because he could attack with a fodder and lose a blocker, but if not, then we'll bounce this with Lunar Rejection and draw a card. Oh, never mind, I guess... Yeah, it's a werewolf, so we have to use this half. Should have maybe saved the Ancestral Anger for the Volcharge Berserker, since it's 1/5. 1/5 just blocks it all day, and that's kind of annoying. So, should have just saved it maybe. I do have a second Anger that can maybe allow an attack across, but it's also just not great. So hopefully these last 2 blood tokens can get us some good cards. A flower would be great. I might even chump with the 2/1 just so I can get a blood token. Alright, Chill the Grave was pretty good. So probably want to chill the 1/5. He does get to make a blood token here. But, I mean, at least it's a trade. And I don't have to deal with a high toughness blocker. And another chill. Alright, another chill was great. I'll just probably use it now, and then just get in for 10. That was a really nice pickup. Even Crow Witness, next turn, it's quite nice, so... Yeah. Crashing for 10, and then if we attack one more time, we should be able to win. Unless he gains like a million life, I guess. He could play Brambleworm, put him up to 7, and I guess survive. So I'm hoping he just doesn't top deck a Brambleworm out of nowhere, or at least draw into one. He would need at least 7 mana, I guess. Yeah, he would need at least 7 mana, and he missed out on his land drop, so I think we should be fine here. Opponent's deck is not too super scary, unlike the previous opponent that we lost to, which had like double Brambleworm, double a Flourishing Hunter, and like Bleed Dry and Wolf Strike. So back to 6. So 3-1, we still have a way to go. Some of these games have been pretty long and grindy, given that even though we are more of an aggressive curve out deck. And again, I also don't think our deck is the best. I mean, we have a decent amount of interaction, but if we can't close out the game in a timely manner, we can just end up in these strange board stalls. No Rending Flames, no Abrades. So opening hand, let's get some good cards. Flame Breather, Fearful Villager, Blissful Watcher. Cruel Witness might take some time to get going, but I'm still going to keep this curve, so keep. Easy keep. Finally get to have Flame Breather on turn 2, which will add up once we get our non-creature spell count going. Anger, so cycling to maybe hit a land drop. Alright. Visionary, I think we just play Fearful Villager to be on curve and take it from there. If we don't get a land, we can always play this and maybe find a land with it later. Guest. Plain Blessed Bolt was perfect. I think I'll get rid of this now, so I can crash in for 4. And then if we hit, and then we can always just activate this to hit our land drop. Impulse, alright. No lands from the opponent. Alright, just a quick concession. Sure. I'll take that. And now we're number 5 Mythic. Awesome. Well, we did it, number 5. How long will it last? We'll see. How long will it last? I got to number 3 Mythic with Strixhaven, but let's see if we can beat that. Alright, not bad for number 5 Mythic, 4-1. Let's see if we can top 5. Let's keep this up. But the Voltaic Visionary is definitely doing a good job, so I'm actually happy that I didn't take the blue-red dual land. Alright, this is a little bit of an interesting hand. We don't really have any 2-drops to go along with this, but I still think I keep, giving that Fearful Villager on turn 3. And hopefully we don't end up like the previous opponent, where we play one spell, get it answered, and then get nothing else. Alright. And blue-white is scary, especially with Brinecomber. And we top decked a good 2-drops, so this is great. Although I don't like Soul Cipher board in the blue-white decks, but if you do get, again, the, whatchamacallit, if you do get Brinecomber, it's scary, so we'll save the Flame Blessed Bolt. He could also block and use a trick. In this case, I can punish him with the Flame Blessed Bolt. And hopefully no Syncopate here for my Fearful Villager. Probably keeping up mana to activate the Cipher board, so he can start putting things in his graveyard and making this into a 3-2. So I might save the Blessed Bolt for the 3-2, since it's quite a relevant threat, and it also generates value with the activation ability. But it's also not an impressive card I really want in blue-white. Better in blue-green, where you're trying to do the whole self-mill thing. So I'm probably fine using Ancestral Anger this turn, probably on the Runebound Wolf, since if he has removal for the Fearful Villager, it's worse. I could also just not use the Flame Blessed Bolts. Let's see. I mean, I don't really want to trade on the Stitch Assistant. If I do, he gets to make a creature, but I guess with a second Flame Blessed Bolt, that's fine. So how about this? Let's just Anger on the Fearful Villager. And I guess I don't mind Flame Breather, so yeah, we're getting some nice top decks. And then take out the Stitch Assistant. So this exiles and doesn't transform the Soul Board, and then we can crash in for 5. So our draws are pretty good so far. Could have maybe gotten greedy with the Flame Blessed Bolt, but I just wanted to get in for damage. So Heron Blessed Geist is a little bit annoying, but you know, we can chill the Grave It, so let's just do that. Just want to deal as much damage as possible with this deck. And then we can eventually just end the game by activating Runebound Wolf, or burning him out with Flame Blessed Bolt. So it's probably game over if he plays a blocker that I can attack past or kill. So he would need like a 3 toughness creature here. Brinecomber. Alright, that does buy him a turn. But I can just exile it, which is fine. And then if I exile it, he's going to be down to 1. So I think I can use Flame Blessed Bolt end of turn, just in case I find another non-creature spell for the Kessig Flame Breather. So let's just do this now. I'm not sure the token counts as going towards the graveyard for the Soul Cipher board. But getting to exile the Brinecomber was really nice. So no non-creature spells. We can attack, but for 3 he blocks, puts me down to 2. I think I just need to attack with all. He chumps a 2-powered creature here, takes 3, falls down to 2. I can play Ballista Watcher. He can transform Soul Cipher for it, I think, because this counts as going to the graveyard, I have to imagine. No, it doesn't. Alright, so it's not even that great. Even worse than the blue-white deck. Could see Syncopate here. Wow, opponent can catch a break. Jesus. And we also just didn't keep the best hand. Just managed to get lucky and top deck a 2-drop into a 3-drop. And still number 5 Mythic. So 5-1. Yeah, these games have been pretty impressive so far. And just 2 more opponents to take out, and hopefully we can get past 5, Mythic rank 5. But yeah, let's keep this up. Alright, 2-drop and 4-drop, no blue mana, but we have some card draw spells here, so... Alright, even the Flame Blessed Bolt, if we need to deal with something early, is pretty nice. So red-black, the best archetype, and a Visionary. I think I'll Flame Blessed Bolt this. It's annoying enough. So the best 2-color combination, can we beat this? We'll see. So next turn we can activate or just attack for 3. Given that we have card draw spells, I might just want to draw some cards, as the opponent has their own Flame Blessed Bolts. Alright. And could just Reckless Impulse here, although I do have turn 4 set up with the Ballista Watcher, so maybe it's better to Wedding Invites and save the Reckless Impulse for later in case I draw a bunch of 5-mana plays that I can't do anything with. And yeah, Reckless Impulse would have been awkward because I would have been forced to play the Fearful Villager. The next following turn I just want to curve out into Ballista Watcher. So we'll see if he has a Bleed Dry end of turn. If nothing, then he's probably keeping a very slow hand. Could see in the Braid, Bleed Dry. Right, Bleed Dry. Sure. Still trading 1 for 1. Hopefully no Falcon Rafts. I was just thinking in my head. Hopefully no Falcon Rafts as the opponent plays a Falcon Raft Celebrant. And I think we just play our own and then take it from there. We do have a Wedding Invite which can gain some life. Might actually activate next turn just to use it right away before he kills this. Impulse, alright. Recluse is pretty well good with the blood tokens, so he can just play Recluse, discard a card end of turn, and transform into a 3/3. But I'm fine just using the Wedding Invite immediately to gain some life. So definitely can't block the 4/4. If he doesn't use the blood token, it's possible that he has a Braid or something to keep up. Or maybe a Dying Mouse. So this is awkward if he isn't going to use the blood. It's a little bit awkward. Okay, so he's going to use it now. Makes sense. So I'm fine just using the Wedding Invite now. Just transform into a 3/3. So yeah, let's let this happen. And then yeah, we'll just use this now. Could also Reckless Impulse. I think we're fine double spelling here. As much as I don't mind Reckless Impulsing to maybe get something better. Just because we can set up a double block at least on his 2 spells here. But I have a feeling he does also have removal. But either way, I think tempo is key in Magic, so we'll just play both of these. And then hold on to our land so we can discard to the blood. Not sure if I want a double block. Could see a Flame Blessed Bolt regardless, so he had one. So I don't have any good blocks, I'll be taking 8. He gains 1. So I'm hoping I can get some goodies next turn. And hopefully no Bomb Rare out of nowhere from black and red like Olivia. But I'll be taking a bit of a beating here. But luckily we gained that 4 life from last turn, so we're still at a decent life total. Gluttonous Guest is going to maybe offset that, so I might need to keep my Falcon Raft Celebrants back for now. So I think we leave with Impulse first, in case we need to play a 4-drop with the land. Flame Blessed Bolt, unfortunately, doesn't deal with anything, so we'll just Impulse first. Blue mana finally, alright, so we'll play a blue mana. I think we're fine discarding a land in our hand. Since we have one next turn and we can play a 3-drop. I guess I'll just attack with the 2/3 and then trade for... I guess I would need to set up a double block here, which is not ideal. I guess I'm fine just discarding the island at this point, although I might need the island for Cruel Witness if I top deck it, so I'm just going to say go. And then double block the 4/4. We trade, and then I have a 2/3 back because I'm not winning this race if I'm flooding. Yeah, I think we just have to double block here and hope for the best. Hopefully no Sure Strike. That would really suck. Could see another removal spell, okay. We'll trade. I think I'll hold on to this land. And now I can discard the land given that I have double blue now for Cruel Witness. I'm flooding out pretty badly here since I just drew too much lands, especially. Alright, that's good. That's a good buy. Rip. Alright, and their Fearful Villager isn't the worst. So this can trade for the 3/3 at least now. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. So I'll block the 3/3 if he attacks with its Epic here. Alright. I think it's worth trading and then eventually top deck into a large creature. Because he could double spell and transform this into a 3/2/3 back in the daytime. So I think trading for the Odious Witch is worth it. And hopefully stop drawing into a million lands, since we drew a bunch of cards already off of Double Blood, Reckless Impulse, and Wedding Announcement. So I'm fine trading for the 3/3. If not, okay, I'm definitely going to block here. So, and I'll just be taking 2 for turn if I get nothing. Alright. As I say that, we draw another land. Yeah, this is how Magic goes sometimes. So gonna save the Flame Blessed Bolt for something scarier. Not necessarily scared of a Gluttonous Guest and a single during Epic here. The damage will add up if I don't draw anything though. Okay, the Undead Butler I can maybe Flame Blessed Bolt, since that can get something back. But I'm still gonna hold on to this for now, as we find a Visionary. I could just kill this now in case he top decks something. I think I will. And the exile is relevant, so he doesn't again get something back from the graveyard. So go. Take 2, and then we can activate Visionary and maybe get a good card off the top. And if he kills it, that sucks. Alright, rip. We do have another Visionary left in the deck. 2 more, I mean. Alright, just more lands. I guess I'll keep the lands for Celebrants if I top deck 1. But a bit of a flood issue here. Opponent doesn't have bombs, but he has a really solid red-black deck. Alright. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 4 more lands left in the library. And now we have 3 more lands left in the library, so we're not doing good here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I guess we still have 4 more lands since we're running 17 lands, and now we might have to play Lunar Rejection. Not ideal, especially since he can make a blood token, so we might just have to take it and then hope for the best and maybe bounce something large end of turn. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even really need to play anything. Are you kidding me? Alright, I guess we need to do it now. Just to find a creature. It's really sad, but yeah, now we need to find something too here. Nice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have 1 more land left in the library. Okay, we drew 2 cards off the top, and the rest of these are just creatures. So we're probably just dead here, I feel like. A single Diregraph Scavenger can kill us. We gave him an extra card with a Gluttonous Guest. This was just a unfortunate match where we... Alright, and he can also make his creature unblockable, so we're probably just dead here. Alright, what could we have drawn? Another land? Well, Celebrants would have been great. I guess we can still discard and see what's up. Maybe we find another interaction spell that's reasonable. So we can always block 1 creature and then interact with the one that he makes unblockable. Ooh, Chill. Alright, Chill isn't the worst. I think I'm fine still discarding a land here. And then we can shut down whatever creature he makes unblockable and still have a 4/4 up. As there's another Falkenrath Celebrants. Unfortunately, we just need to keep up the Chill, just so we don't die. I guess we're dead. Never mind. Good games. Alright. That was an unfortunate match. Both of our Celebrants were like on the bottom 10 cards of our library, and we drew almost all of our lands. There was 1 more land left in the library, so the flow was really bad. There was a huge land pocket we drew into. Like I was expecting to at least draw a couple of good spells off the top of the Reckless Impulse and Wedding Announcement, but just way too much lands. And now we're back to number 6 Mythic, I think. So we need to get back to number 5. And we still need 2 more games, I think, to get to 7 wins. But, yep, let's do this. Hopefully our next game is a lot more grateful to us. We gave him like 4 turns to attack us with the 1 powered creatures. No red mana. I mean, this would be in a great hand if there was red mana, but we have to mulligan this. Alright, this one is slightly better. Which card do we want to keep? Could ditch the Runebound Wolf. The Lunar Rejection is going to take a while to cast as well, unless the opponent's playing green. I think I'd just ditch a 2-drop here. I like the Keswick Flame Breather with all these non-creature spells, and the Visionary can also draw me some cards, so I think the Runebound Wolf can go. And, I mean, I could also just bottom the Lunar Rejection, but having a bounce spell on turn 4 that draws us a card isn't the worst. Could also bottom the Chill, I guess. But we have enough 2-drops that I don't mind. So I might activate this next turn if I don't get a land drop. If he plays nothing, I might just attack for 3 and play Keswick Flame Breather. So red-green, a lot of werewolves, so the Lunar Rejection is actually going to get a good discount here. Alright, I could just attack and offer to trade, although I do need to hit my land drop, so I think I'm going to activate this Visionary. And that's kind of awkward. Alright, we'll play second one. Guess we can activate twice next turn to hopefully get a land drop. Could see a removal spell here. Foreboding Statue, that I wouldn't mind killing. Okay, a land is good. I could still just activate it here, honestly. Or just attack and then offer to trade for one of them. I could also play Keswick Flame Breather. I mean, I just played out my land, so maybe we just take it slow and play out the Keswick Flame Breather. And next turn we can start activating. I could also just offer one, we'll take Visionary. Maybe one can attack and trade for the Scorpion. And then we can use the other one to get some lands going. So, yeah, this is odd. He might just tap out for something large, and I might be forced to bounce it next turn. Guess I'm fine with. Pax on Pup is a problem though, but I can always bounce it back. Yeah, let's just lead with activating the Visionary, I think. And yeah, the Raconteer was a good blocker to have, so that's really sweet. And then now we can attack with the 4-3. And then now we have Kessig Flame Breather and Rakenteer online, which can start burning the opponent. The Paxon Pup might start growing once he lands a Werewolf, but if not, it's still going to remain a 1-1, which I'm fine with. I'm fine taking 3 from the Belligerent Guest. Okay, Ballista Watcher is scary. So I do need to find an interaction spell for maybe the Paxon Pup. There's a Crow Witness. I guess we attack for 4 and then play Crow Witness. And take it slow. Since I can't really block with this anyways, and I'm fine trading with the 3-2. And that's the trade I was expecting. So I could always play 2 mana Bounce into Lunar Rejection, but I think I just want to get the Cruel Witness out now. And then hopefully deal with this. But Paxon Pup and Ballista Watcher are both scary cards. Also, opponent forgot to tap the Foreboding Statue to add a counter. If he attacks with the Watcher, I could double block just to get out of the way. But I'm definitely looking forward to bouncing the Paxon Pup back to his hand. Stensia Uprising, alright, that's a problem too. So I might need to be aggressive here. Maybe bounce the Paxon Pup or the Ballista Watcher, or tap it down and then just attack. Could always do it on his turn, since I really don't have any good attacks on the ground regardless. So yeah, I guess we attack for 3. I really don't want this transforming, so I might just main phase the Lunar Rejection regardless. Or just use Chill the Grave. I mean, he gets to activate the Ballista Watcher twice, and it becomes a 5-5. Maybe I just bounce it. Yeah, maybe I just bounce the Ballista Watcher since it's more expensive to cast. I could also, again, wait until his turn so I can burn him out with more damage from the Rakenteer. So maybe it was better to just, alright, our own Ballista Watcher, I'll keep. And that can answer the tokens from Stensia Uprising as well. So we'll play our own Ballista Watcher. So that was a really nice top deck. And we can start activating it to burn down his tokens or Foreboding Statue. Although it's going to transform into a 5-5 next turn, so I might need to just try to end the game quickly. Paxon Pup is an issue too. So by bouncing the Ballista Watcher, he needs to waste his whole turn on it. So I might turn Nighttime just so I can get a better ping off of the Lambhill Rakenteers. I didn't get too punished for actually using the Lunar Rejection main phase, since I was able to follow up with the Ballista Watcher. Now that's a 5-5. Alright, this is a problem. So I guess I can attack for 3, play Bloodpell Celebrant, keep up Chill the Grave. And then take it from there. I guess we want to chill the Paxon Pup. And then we're fine maybe taking 5 or chumping the 5-5. Chumping the 5-5 also isn't the worst. By chumping the 5-5, that means, I mean, Anya, oh my god, yeah, I can't win this. Yeah, Anya is just a problem. I guess it's just game over now that he has Anya. Yeah, that sucks. So he gets to drain us for 2 every turn in game 2, so that's going to be difficult to race for sure. I guess we let this resolve, and then we just want to tap down the 5-5. He can always sacrifice his 5-5 to Anya just to gain the extra 5 life as well. So we're probably going to lose here, and that kind of sucks, but we were pretty close to getting up to 7. Celebrants might not be able to do it, so he can sack the pup, gain a million life. He can also activate the Watcher eventually, take out the Bloodpell Celebrant. So either way, I think I'm in bad shape. I guess I can double block the Watcher at least, take 5. I mean, I need to deal with this eventually, so maybe I do just need to trade off the Ballista Watcher begrudgingly. So maybe blocks like this, lose both, and then blocks like this. Lose Ballista Watcher, lose both of these, play Celebrants. If he has removal, then I'm screwed. I mean, he would kill the Watcher, I'd imagine, and not just deal 3 to the Lambhold Racketeer, so... Either way, I think I'm kind of screwed here. Can't beat Anya. Decides to take out the Lambhold Racketeer, alright. Interesting. I guess he might be afraid of the damage and burn coming from the Racketeer. And he can just sacrifice the pup to Anya if he wants to. Also, I guess he can get up to 13 permanents with this Stensia Uprising end of turn and just burn out one of my creatures. So either way, I think I'm screwed. So now he can sack it and then kill Ballista Watcher or my Flyer if he wants. Yeah, I don't know any way out of this. I don't have any hard removal for Anya. There's no Rending Flame in my deck. And this is just going to keep growing and gaining life, so I think it's just good games. Alright, can't get it all, but we still got to a number 7 Mythic or number 6, we'll see. Number 7, alright, we'll leave it at 7. And then I might just try to get to top 5 with Strixhaven, maybe. Or, I mean, we did get to top 5, but we just didn't get past top 5. Either way, there's just some games that you can't win, and that's just one of them. So 5 and 2, okay deck. Not the best blue-red deck. Would have loved maybe an extra copy of Ancestral Anger, some Kessig Flame Breathers in the deck too. Maybe cut off some of the mopey Fearless Villagers for something else. But it's an okay deck, and we'll just claim our prize. And then call it. Or just open up some packs, see what our top commons are. But we made the top 5 for the time being, and 7's not the worst. Right, Weaver Blossoms, probably the best card in this pack. And Vampire's Vengeance versus Hookhand Mariner, probably take the Vampire's Vengeance. This is obviously best in black-red, but you'll still play in almost any red deck, especially even in red-green with a lot of high toughness going on. But I find that this effect is much more impactful, especially against the blue-white go-wide Spirits deck, which can be a bit of a headache to deal with. And this pack isn't great. Resistance Squad, good in white-green, but I tend to avoid white-green. If you're drafting white-green, just draft Werewolves, honestly, and you won't have an issue. Just draft the Weaver Blossoms, Hookhand Mariners, and Flourishing Strikes, Traveling Ministers, and take it from there. It's not really about the training, honestly, since there's already enough large creatures in green already to that doesn't need training, that can attack efficiently. Whereas the training does take time to get going, and then since you're forced to attack with it, you might not get any good blocks off of it. So yeah, if you're going to go white-green, don't even focus on training, just draft a bunch of good cards and you're fine. There's an Infestation Expert. Alright, this seems excellent. 5 mana 3/4, whenever it attacks or enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1, and if it's nighttime, you make 2 of them. This card is quite powerful and definitely scary to face against when you're behind, but still puts you in green, the worst color in this format, but it's still very strong. And then finally, yeah, this pack also just isn't great. It's probably Runebound Wolf as a 5 mana sink in the green-red Werewolves deck. And then, yeah, common Gift of Fangs could be fine, especially if you're in Vampires, or if you're not Vampires, it's still cheap interaction, assuming you don't face against the Vampires deck. But yeah, Runebound Wolf is decent. And there you have it. Alright, we made it to top 7 Mythic at least. So at least we got past 10. Might try to make another video and get up to top 3, or, you know, get past 5 at least, and do more Premier Draft Crimson Vow. Or I can cheat and do Strixhaven, which is coming up in approximately 3 hours and 18 minutes. So yeah, there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy my videos, and have a wonderful day. Bye.